faces out there, and I'm so proud of all y'all coming out here, filling out the stadium every single day from start to finish. Thank you so much for coming out and showing the world that NA Dota is not dead, and it'll never die as long as you keep playing, you keep watching, and you keep cheering. This is your tournament, Raleigh. This is your region. This is your tournament. This is your arena. So welcome to your grand final.
What a treat we have here in Raleigh. We have perhaps the most storied carry of all time in Yatoro with a first pick Terrorblade. No cares in the world versus perhaps the most promising up-and-coming carry we have seen in a very, very long time in Satanic with the last pick Morphling. Man, this takes me back to all of those majors when it was like Prime Secret versus Prime VP, and you had first pick Morphling Terrorblades every single game. What a thrilling meta. We have arrived there once again, Austin. And this is a storied carry matchup. These are two heroes that have faced off against each other year in, year out. I'm very excited to see what these two carry players can do in this series overall as they try and put their teams on their back. Can you beat Satanic? That is the question that has been proposed.
I mean, let's add one more name to the mix, right? I saw somebody talk about the panel, and they said it's North America, past, present, and future on that panel. And I thought, you know what? That actually applies to this matchup here.
100%.
No one, Yatoro, Satanic, that is the past, the present, and the future. The Eastern European region, and they are clashing in this grand final for supremacy. Who is going to be walking away the winner? Who's going to walk away with the early advantage in this game one? We'll have to see. His first blood might just happen right here. Maposhka, the captain of Team Spirit, out of position, caught out by PARIVISION, and no one, the past of Eastern Europe, will take over the present and has an advantage for the mid lane.
To me, this is the veteran to look for PARIVISION in this series. This is a very young team, but no one, he has been around the block. He's been in this position before. He helped lead them to that title in Bangkok. You get out to a fast start here on no one, he can just dominate these games. He can put the entire team on his back, give him that first blood. He's in a solid position to do it. 3 runes do go Team Spirit's way, so they won't be licking their wounds too much here. There is a lot of interesting draft interaction that happened in this game one. And honestly, I feel like you could see PARIVISION playing Team Spirit's lineup more often than not, right? All of this lane shove between the two side laners, some like weird funky 4-position hero that's going to be annoying.
Yep.
Instead, it's kind of a faster lineup from PARIVISION, and that is the big question for me in this series. Do we see Pari adjust the tempo like they did in some of their previous series out of nowhere, right? This is a team that's capable of playing really slow. We learned that yesterday.
Oh, we definitely did.
But they are also a team that's capable of playing extremely fast and running you over, and you have to be ready for both modes that this team operates on. Team Spirit, however, they are no slouches when it comes to adjusting themselves, and I fully expect that if this game does not go their way, they will make adjustments quickly. They will flip the script as well. We saw how fast they can play in that TI Grand Final versus Gaiman, where they ran over arguably the fastest team in that tournament.
Yep.
So both these teams have a lot of tempo flexibility and a lot they can bring to the table, which is what makes this matchup so cool.
Overall, do you feel like since Spirit is adopting some of PARIVISION tricks, do you feel like if this managed to work for them, do you feel like it's a big advantage being able to take away some of the play style that your enemy is best at?
I think in some ways it's a demoralizer for PARIVISION, but at the same time, if you're going up against Team Spirit and you see collapse on Medusa, I don't know. I feel like I won something, you know? It's not the Magnus, it's not the Mars, it's not a Blink Stunner. He can dominate this games with this hero for sure. I'm not underrating it to any degree, but it doesn't put the fear in you. And I think PARIVISION are going to be quite happy if they can get this one out in the first game, as well because they're coming from that lower bracket series that went to 3 games. Those were very long games.
Yep.
Generally, if you're the team coming in from that position, you want to win game 1. Not just so you don't have to potentially play 5 games, but you want to keep the morale high, you want to keep the momentum going. You do not want to come in here off of an emotional high in that series and then get beat down swiftly.
Yeah,
this game 1 is really important.
That's one of the biggest problems that we've seen from our grand finals recently, is that it feels like the team coming through the lower bracket very often just runs out of steam. They get to that grand finals, and at some point in time, I mean, a great example was that 2-0 matchup, and then we had the reverse earlier this year, right? You can get to that point. Falcons got to that point. They're 2-0 in their grand finals, right? But they couldn't close out the series and just ultimately ran out of steam. towards the end of the day.
It's a marathon. It takes an emotional toll, mental toll, physical toll. You just run out of energy at some point. There might be a little bit of a clock ticking for PARIVISION in this BO5 if it really goes the distance. Just how tough are you? I mean, that's where having, you know, a 16-year-old carry player will help bounce that out of it.
And certainly he's used to playing 16 games of Dota every day.
100%. So far, though, quiet start to this game. No really bad deaths on this laning phase, just the early lead for no one on that mid with the first blood. I am looking at Laurel in this game to really control the team fighting for Spirit. They don't have any other playmaker. You could argue this Terrorblade Medusa side lane double carry is pretty greedy, and you would be a little right. So that puts a lot of emphasis on Laurel having a solid game here and being able to start fights.
Yeah.
Particularly against this Morphling. As the panel noted, this is an absolutely free Morphling game outside of Global Silence and getting stunned by Shaker. That's it.
So a lot of pressure is going to be on Laurel to perform. He has had an excellent performance this season. I mean, part of the reason that Team Spirit has been in the conversation at all before some of these other tournaments is the fact that Laurel's just been popping off in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's had a very good season so far, continuing to show why he was able to pick up that second Aegis alongside all of these legends.
That's right.
Very stable mid laners in this series.
So both Rue and 9class are just doing their best to be obnoxious to the enemy carry. 9class taking over the Ringmasters, just throwing out the daggers. Rue's constantly just pickpocketing the PARIVISION, both the support and the carry of a bit of their gold.
I will say the panel is a bit mixed on this Bounty Hunter. The more I'm watching this hero, the more I like it.
Oh, the Gorgon's Grasp missed, but it doesn't matter. They still have the snake. The burst damage is just too much. The pull seems to be a bit of a problem there. PARIVISION want to be able to contest, but at the same time, Satanic didn't really have the resources to back up his support.
Rue is doing a really good job controlling the two side camps on this bottom lane, plus the Sentry battle. He's putting Ducalis in a position where you're forced to go above that
Dawn
tree line
into
to
trouble,
contest.
top lane. Oh, he got run down easy. That was so much burst right there. Got hit by the level 2 fully charged Tame the Beast. That's 280 damage, man. He did not expect all that.
This is the lane I expect to crumble first for Spirit. I do not think you're standing on this lane with Silence or Terrorblade against Beastmaster, Ringmaster with potential rotation. There's just no way. You're gonna have to
get the toss back. Laurel, he's got the range creep in the Siege Wagon, trying to protect no one. He's gonna have to throw the Siege Wagon at Laurel, but it's not gonna be good enough. He knows. Oh, the dagger actually coming across the screen there as 9class came in for a rotation as well. Maposhka backing up Laurel a little bit, and we'll see whether or not they can actually get control over one of these power runes. Laurel certainly needs the extra help. Had the wand charge, it stays alive. Fisher
Still not enough.
on 3. No one's taking a lot of damage. No one has to go for the toss straight up on Rue in order to get out of this Bounty Hunter's way.
He displaced the cold feet there because he tossed him up.
That's
kind of an interesting interaction. These mid laners are just so tanky. You're trying to gank both these strength heroes. Also, really heads up play by no one. He planted a branch so that he could pick it up with the tree toss to try and get that last throw in because there were no trees on that dire side of the ramp. That is a super heads up play with that branch. Did not end up paying off, but would have been in the highlight reel for sure.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a wash. They didn't get the kill on Laurel, but they also didn't let Laurel get a power rune out of the situation, so he had to back out. Went back to the fountain for a full heal. Now it's no one who feels like he's being pressured heavily.
Wisdom Shrines are going to spawn. Should just get split here. I don't think either team's contesting. And going back to the Bounty Hunter, this is a hero that Spirit have played pretty well around and can make these early rotations as Radon. Again, this is just not a lane you can stand in.
Yeah, left alone in lane. DM, the build he's got going on, these fours, and the Hawk is going to be a nuisance. They slow him down with the Blood Grenade, fall with the Tame the Beast, and he just runs him down casually as he can be.
Just no help to come in. If you're not bringing the supports up there because they're focused on mid in this tiny, there's no way you let Radon sit on this lane. Make that Terrorblade go jungle, slow down his early game. And this Beastmaster, he is having one hell of a start here.
I was going to say, isn't that supposed to be the advantage? You pick the Terrorblade in part because if the lane is bad. Oh, what a snake bounce! Ooh, Satanic didn't see that one coming.
That's really massive in this early game. This Medusa's heating up.
in from behind, no one. He's going to be stuck here. Fisher goes down, kind of blocked in the trees in an awkward position, but do they have the damage? Laurel walking in, ready to go with the Echo Slam. He didn't really get it that much. Okay. That really cost Maposhka his life, and maybe Laurel as well. With this dive, he's dead. Oh, Rue's going to try and help him out. What a play from 9class, using that trick, the whoopee cushion, to get up to the high ground and in position to make sure he gets the kill on the enemy mid laner.
You end up getting the Echo kill here. Tiny is the bigger prize right now. That did not feel smooth at all. It just kind of forced the issue. Especially when you're not leading these plays with Rue on that bounty. You did pick up the huge kill bottom on that Morphling, and that is a big one. Every time you bring this Morphling down in the early game, you get to breathe a sigh of relief.
Rue trying to force him to take that regen rune. Does get hit by the cold feet. They don't have the vision here.
This is just an all-off brawl mid, man.
It really is.
These teams do not want to give the power runes away for free.
Why are we seeing so many rotations to mid lane in comparison to the rest of this tournament where I felt like there was a lot more side lane action? Three-man Fisher setting up with the Avalanche Ball to obtain the Beast. A dagger goes out, but Laurel is so tanky. Hard to bring him down. They bring in all these heroes in the mid lane, but they're also two strength heroes that are
Courier?
some of the tankiest heroes you can look at. Courier is going to get sniped.
Yeah, Captain Bamboo, not living for long here. There's going to be a lot of Courier deaths this series. I feel like that's a safe prediction.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's just a product of this mid matchup. You have two playmakers in the mid lane and the Tiny and the Shaker. They're really important for both teams. You want to get them out to a good start. And when Tiny plays versus these melee mids, he always has that Avalanche toss back threat, so that gank is incredibly easy if the other team doesn't counter it. So it's just vacuuming all these supports toward mid, looking for the power runes, looking for the toss back plays. Spirit want to respond. On one side, PARIVISION are super happy with what the Beastmaster got. On the other, the Medusa is equally happy. But DM, he's making the move first with this early Helmet Dominator. Classic Beastmaster rotation to mid after that tier 1 tower top goes down. And can you stop this if you're Spirit? You would have to bring the Medusa and
you want
collapse
to
TP.
talk about pace here. 0-4-2 Beastmaster already taking the safe lane tower. Now the mid for Aspen is going to be caught in the Meteor Hammer. The Gorgon's grasp and the Snake. Very nice bounces. Rue almost dies in return. A dagger from across the screen. 9 class slips one past Laurel in order to claim the kill. Still though, it's a 1-for-2 exchange heavily to the favor of Team Spirit.
Well, Team Spirit are super happy with that. They got summons off the Beastmaster. That was the Helmet Dominator rotation. Collapse is just benefiting from every single play in this early game on a hero that has no boots, does not have the extra mobility. So he's super happy when you can get him involved. And your Bounty Hunter, he's getting extra XP off these kills. That's the biggest thing. Try and get to this track as soon as possible. Another Courier went down as well.
Yeah.
This Ringmaster leading out as 9 class wondering where his Courier snipes are going to start to come in. It adds up, man. That's a lot of early game gold. You look at this Terrorblade's net worth, that laning phase was not great, but you get a couple hundred gold extra off these Couriers.
I mean, I feel like half the gold that 9 class gets when he's playing like Slark is from Courier kills. So the reason why he gets such a fast Yules is because he kills so many goddamn Couriers.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to see that Team Spirit are taking some of that, the same tools that PARIVISION have used to get to this Grand Finals in the first place, showing that they can adopt them.
And Spirit's just going to sit this Medusa mid and threaten the tower with the hammer.
Trying to get 6 up at the top lane. The Bounty Hunter is going to go down here. Roared and dusted. There's no escape from this.
This Beastmaster is a menace on the map. That misplay mid cost DM a lot of his momentum, but he is still the strongest hero in any of these open areas, especially if he can start on a target. Do you have Global Silence available from Aposhka? And you have the Blink Dagger done for Laurel, so the aggressive playmaking potential is online for Spirit here, whereas you're still waiting for that Blink on the No One Tiny. He's fallen behind in this early game. He invested more into the Phase Boot Soul Ring, can't blame him, just standard build on the hero. But the upside for Laurel is Blink Brown Boots looking for Satanic. He's morphed a little high, but...
Yes, is he enough strength? I feel like he is. I think he's just high enough. Laurel's just going to show himself. He knows. Satanic knows.
That's 1 second off being a dead Morphling there.
Yeah. Razor thin margins, but the kid plays it correctly, and Laurel's move is kind of ruined. At the same time, I do feel like Collapse, he may have benefited from going to that mid lane, but most of the time this Meteor Hammer Dusa is supposed to stick it out in the off lane until he gets that tower.
I don't mind this play though, because you can bring everybody else and fight around this. PARIVISION are very dependent on this mid tower for the Tiny's farm. They have to defend this.
Especially with all the deep vision they have, right? This deep jungle ward and the one behind the mid tower.
So good behind the tier 1 mid. You have a shield rune amp damage Earthshaker right now with Global Silence to back him up. You take anything you find here.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, at this point, you see any heroes, I feel like you just force it.
You have to take this Ringmaster, right?
Laurel really wants the Tiny, but they're just going to have to take 9 class out of the equation. I mean, he is too free at this point. So they do finally show themselves. They're going to try and take the tower. Meteor Hammer is going to be stopped again, but the amp damage, I think they've got it.
Yeah, you can't do anything about this. And this Blink on the Tiny getting delayed and delayed. As Laurel takes the last hit, nice little boost up for him. And you didn't really get a lot of pressure on this Terrorblade. The whole time this was happening, Yatoro Not getting killed by this Beastmaster, not getting forced out of the jungle area. He's recovering a bit. Good sign for him. And if you're DM, 300 off this ulti orb for Helm of the Overlord, that is going to be a massive timing for PARIVISION. You want to get something done with this helm. Either it's early Roshans, early Tormentors, early fights around tier 1s. That tier 1 mid is still available. There's a lot of early objectives for this Helm of the Overlord to go to work on. Expect some quick smokes out of PARIVISION with this item timing. You have A Blast to back it up. You have Ringmaster follow-up. Any sort of stun initiation that comes out from the Beastmaster with a Tiny in this game, there is a huge amount of damage follow-up that can come through as long as you don't get global. And is the one caveat.
From your perspective, which of those objectives is most important for PARIVISION?
I don't think they need a super early Roshan this game. I think you really want Tormentor when you go this Helm of the Overlord. Like, that is yours to take. That should be a very difficult fight for Spirit to, you know, contest it to any degree, unless your Bounty Hunter's on the backline at the start and you somehow just get a dream initiation. So if I'm PARIVISION, I'm thinking about Tormentor here, I'm thinking about that tier 1 mid, and I'm thinking about maybe invading jungle area and finding at least one pick off on either this Medusa or the Terrorblade. That kind of sequence was, you know, 5-6k gold net worth swing easy.
With the stacks they have, DM not only gets his Helm of the Overlord, but actually has a decent jump start into the pipe. We'll see him start rotating towards mid, so perhaps the call is made to try and even out this mid lane tower advantage that Team Spirit currently has, but it's going to be tough pushing into this, even with the Helm of the Overlord, as you already have the Rod of Atos out from Collapse. Got him inside the Gorgon's Grasp. The follow-up Niederheimer is going to land. A lot of damage being thrown at DM, but not enough. Team Spirit stuck on the low ground there.
Got the dragon.
Except the dragon instead. That's still 250 gold.
I mean, even more important than the dragon, you just put DM on low HP. He has to go get another creep. He has to reset here. And you are going to smoke on PARIVISION with this tiny blink, but now is the Beastmaster confident enough to join this kind of play and take a head-on fight half HP. Chipping him down, slowing him down, it opens up a lot, and look what Spirit are doing. They're just smoking straight bottom. This is almost a defend the Tormentor play, intercept the move.
They have that vision. Some of it surely has spotted PARIVISION in their move over here. Team Spirit don't find it opening, though.
The vision for Team Spirit's doing a lot of work. These deep wards behind that tier 1 mid. They had another one in that deep jungle, and the Bounty Hunter can always scout on the front line. Makes these kind of cross-map moves for objectives pretty difficult. That's a smoke that yields nothing for PARIVISION. DM's just going to push in mid. But this is Tormentor for Spirit, despite that early Helm of the Overlord.
Yeah, I was going to say I like the fact that DM stuck it out mid because he can take the mid tower, but
A-Blast?
This Ice Blast is going to cut things close. They stop hitting the Tormentor. Can they do it? Is anybody going to die off of this? They use the Sunder. Everyone stays alive.
That is... I mean, razor-thin margins here.
Seriously.
You're just banking on nobody being there. You are right. You have the vision to play around it, but a big gamble. You are rewarded. A shard for the silencer, some extra insteal. You get some fights rolling your way.
Yep. Meanwhile, DM stuck it out mid lane. He did take that mid tower as a result, so there was a trade-off for PARIVISION.
And they do get the haste rune for the Tiny. That's a big power rune here. Do a lot with it on the map right now.
See what he gets done. Echo Saber is going to be his next choice. 7-6, 16 minutes in, and Team Spirit have kind of backed off a little bit.
The lanes are getting shoved by the Beastmaster. The risk of them going for an aggressive play is if it backfires, that Roche is just dead to the Vlad's Morphling plus the Beastmaster, or you're going to lose a lot of map control. And you've got to remember, you're playing a Dusa Terrorblade lineup. In theory, you can farm a lot. You have solid pace here with the start Collapse has had. You want a situation where PARIVISION go into the Medusa. That is the ideal fight for you. Spells get thrown on Collapse, he's the front line. That's where you maximize the value of this hero.
Okay, Roar's going to be put onto the Bounty Hunter at the same time. They're ganking the Dragon. Neither play works. Both Rue and the Dragon survived, so...
I will say, as good of a game as DM's had, I think it's been equally awkward. That mid move failed, he didn't get Tormentor, the Roche is still up. A couple Roars just haven't yielded too much, or you're just finding the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah,
and he's still top net worth. His game is not bad. He's 3-1, he has 150 CS. He probably feels incredibly strong in this game, but Spirit are not giving him a lot of openings to snowball off of this lead right now. Just very disciplined around the map and using this Bounty Hunter to maximum effectiveness. The vision continuing to be annoying here.
Yeah, I guess this combination of the Bounty Hunter and the Medusa frontlining is going to make things difficult for this Beastmaster when it comes to roaring important targets.
I mean, look at the move right now from PARIVISION. They're moving up top, but this is a fresh obs planted by the Bounty Hunter. He scouts out the bottom half of that move. The upper half of it was the Tiny staring at Collapse on the lane. Just not a target you want to jump right here.
No, you do not want to go for this Dusa. They can take a lot of fights, but starting out on the Dusa seems ill-advised.
And I think the panel's read of the cores going into this AA pick was spot on. This is a draft designed to make AA one of the most dominant heroes of this tournament.
Yep.
Right, 80% win rate hero. They're trying to neuter his impact. You have the two best carries in the game versus AA, and the Medusa and the Terrorblade on the same team.
Yeah.
And then you have a bounty hunter who can scout him out and make his life miserable, make him have to invest in a bunch of detection. Not a fun matchup either. Global Silence sometimes messes with this hero a little. It's just not a fun AA game. You have to start fights on your terms. You have to be the one getting the jump. We have not seen it a lot as Ducalis just left wondering, when is the team fight going to come for my hero?
Yeah, how do you get the jump against Bounty Hunter, Earthshaker, Medusa? A combination of vision, frontline, and initiation seems to be in the favor of Team Spirit. And as a result, PARIVISION haven't been able to do much with this very strong Beastmaster.
Oh, no
Some
one.
of their combinations. They're going to get caught in the corner here. Ancient Apparition hit by that Fissure. Laurel starts backing away a little bit. Doesn't want to take the full combination of the Tiny. Doesn't want to die in his Ice Blast, but it looks like he will anyway. He gets one final hit. And knockout punch to Ducalis. Gets a 2-for-1 exchange. Reminder though, those are track kills on top of that.
And now you can start to run the map with this bounty. Potentially look for more. Radon will get your lanes in. PARIVISION have to be careful when you give up big kills like this.
He wants the courier, you want the hero. He wants the hero. With Maposhka sneaking up the side, 9 class is surrounded. There's no way out of this one. The Gleipnir into the Gorgon's grasp. Him being silenced, he's dead. Satanic is going to turn into a silencer and try and catch after Rue. Stonegaze is going to be put to use to stop him. Rue trying to get out, but his TPs are coming in. DM's almost here. He got the roar onto the Medusa. Now with the Stonegaze already used, this is a target they can actually bring down. They have the follow-up with the Cold Feet, and with all of these heroes from PARIVISION, they will bring down the Beast.
Finally an opening for this Beastmaster to get what he wants. That's a 5x streak on Collapse as well. I'm surprised they didn't just go Roche here. They're smoking up looking for more, but this Roche dies really fast. No Medusa, there's no way you're contesting it. They just want everything right now. They do get scanned. Pipe is already done for this Beastmaster, by the way. He is absolutely massive.
Maposhka actually stuck around to dig for a second there. Spotted by no one, but no one blinks backwards instead. Really awkward because is it too late to go back into Roche?
I think the play was just Roche there because the kill happened right next to the pit. Why not? It felt so natural. I think they are just going to force it here anyway.
Okay. The
No harm, no foul. But this does give Spirit a chance to contest, and you do have Echo Slam Global up.
Yeah, you've got everything except for Stonegaze. So
it's got to happen fast. This is a very fast Roshan for this early in the game. I don't think they're here in time. This is going to be very close. You're going to have to just insta-jump with Laurel here.
Oh yeah, the 3-man smoke of Spirit. They're going to be close, almost inside the pit in time, but the H has already been picked up. And Team Spirit, maybe they get the initiation afterwards. They try. Laurel puts the Echo Slam. Global Sound's going to be put to use. Going after the Beastmaster, but it is a hard kill to get. And Laurel finds that he is instead stumbled into a trap as PARIVISION turn back around, get the kill on him and Captain Maposhka.
It's just not a jump you can make. You do not have enough damage to bring a Pipe Beastmaster down with 2,000 HP this early in the game. You have to respect this aura right now.
Yeah, it wasn't even close to getting that kill.
Spirit are on the back foot right now. They are not matching the tempo, and this Dusa is just getting out-pushed. Does not give you a lot of damage at this point in the game. PARIVISION capitalizing on it. Map is theirs to take with DM's timings.
The double auras of Vlad's and the Beastmaster's inner beast, the physical damage that they're pulling in is really nice. Roar and Wheel of Wonder and Ice Blast.
That's everything.
That's a lot to put to use for a hero that's
alive.
That died. Is he actually going to be able to survive through all this one? Radon coming in big from the side. It's already ripped apart one support. Oh, tossed over, puts Laurel in a bad position. What a strike from no one. Catches out Laurel. He came back in the fight and immediately died. Satanic playing a little bit slow. Not sure if he can challenge Radon or not. With all of his illusions, we'll wait it out, back away, take the tier 2, and not force more of the engagement.
I feel like that's as good a fight as Spirit are going to get in that position, at least going into the Aegis. Everything got thrown on the Dusa and Collapse lives, but what's the turnaround? No Echo Slam on this Shaker. You have no team fight damage. The second he goes in, he just gets obliterated from the Morphling in the AA. So hard for Spirit to bring anybody down, other than some of these easy supports.
Yep.
They need more damage.
Apparition continues to be a problem.
They just need damage, or they need ways to start fights on their terms with the Bounty Hunter or the Shaker going on the A or the Ringmaster. You get a 5-on-4. You can bring the Deuce in on full resources. Rue is hounding Satanic a little bit, but I do not think he minds right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he does have... He had 3 Vessel charges, so I guess he can afford to throw some of them around lightly, but...
This is just a race to the butterfly for this Morphling. That's what it's looking like. You're going to have an incredibly strong timing. Whatever item Satanic opts for next year, you can just push with that. You're going to have the Beastmaster to back you up. You're going to have a toss save if you really need it. You have Escape Act if you really need it.
Yep.
Strongman Tonic. There's a lot of HP buff to throw into this Morphling if you want to siege the base.
A free Morphling game into a very free butterfly timing. Dangerous for Team Spirit.
He is not far off it either. 1,300 gold.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Rue being a nuisance around the map. You know he's around here somewhere, but miss on the dust.
I mean, he is doing some work right now. The more you can stall this game out for your Deuce and Terrorblade to get some damage, the happier you're going to be.
I love that 9 class correctly predicted where Rue was. Even if he couldn't catch him, he's like, nah, I know where this guy would be. He wouldn't run away through the mid lane. He'd just go deeper into our side of the map. Picks up the amp damage, takes that away from PARIVISION, which would have been a big rune for no one to have in his bottle.
All he has to think about is, what would I do? I'd be as annoying as possible.
Kind of getting sandwiched. A lot of vision from Rue.
He is
it feels like
wasting
some of the Spirit heroes are getting close.
Look at the time he's wasting, though. PARIVISION are still just lingering around this area, getting tracked. They know he's here. Another jump from no one.
Got him on the avalanche, and they do have the detection. The sentry's right next to him, but he's outside of the sentry now. Where's more detection, though?
This is such a big committal.
They've got him kind of cornered. They chase after him, hit him with the dust. Okay, he's finally gonna fall. They do catch this little rat. The Bounty Hunter falls.
And your reward, 500 gold. Was it worth it? Probably not, as the lead is not growing during this Aegis period. Gone up by about 1,000 or 2,000. You got that tier 2 mid, but that's about it. First Aegis not pivotal here. It did get your Morphling to the butterfly timing. That's the more important aspect. This is a really strong item timing in this Morphling Terrorblade matchup. Yatoro is just not going to have a direct answer to Satanic in these fights. And the push coming through. The Morphling's not even here, by the way.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy that PARIVISION is even willing to get this close to Spirit's base while not having their Aegis carry.
I mean, keep in mind, Satanic, he's morphing into this Terrorblade and just sending illusions down the lanes to counter the TV's illusions as well. So he's effectively giving PARIVISION a lot of map control while they clump like this.
Yeah.
Not losing too much on the side lanes.
So it's just going to be an illusion push game on both sides.
We've seen this before. It is a style PARIVISION are very familiar with.
Item timings coming in. Radon is trying to work towards his Scotty. Laurel, a BKB, and Collapse is going to go back for the shard after he picked up Lincoln's. While we talked about the butterfly that is done for Satanic, he's going to put that to use. And he is demolishing tower after tower. Another tier 2 to fall.
Still feels like Pari have the damage advantage right now.
Yeah.
Scotty for Terrorblade will help this game a lot, especially if you can just stick onto that Morphling, make his life miserable. But you're not dealing massive burst DPS, and that's the concern. If you can't land a massive Echo Slam, that fight looks pretty difficult. The ores are continuing to come in for DM with that AC. He found a Granite Golem as well. I mean, that's just icing on the cake right here.
Yeah,
EHP
tank on tank on tank.
Barely misses.
Hit by the Fissure, he's got a haste rune, so Maposhka, his life is forfeit. He's going to Global Silence TP away with BKB. It doesn't cleanse you, but he does have the toss right after the Global Silence fades away. Maposhka does end up going down, while they also took the Tormentor. Dakalis gets the shard.
Pretty nice one here. This is a really nice shard to have and not one you often want to buy. So that'll free up some more gold for him, probably Glimmer Cape, Force Staff, whatever you want.
Yeah, that extra bit of stun could come in clutch when it comes to this man right here, preventing Yatoro from getting off a Sunder, just bursting 100 to 0.
100%, because it does not look like Yatoro wants to commit for a BKB this game. And you can't blame him. Like, you have to just gear up to be an ultra carry. You need all your slots. It's not even that great of a BKB game. You're playing into the Roar. You're playing into a lot of kiting potential. Doesn't really help you in this Morphling matchup too much.
Yeah.
It's a mixed bag.
It would be different if Laurel was like you know, actually scaling up his Earthshaker, but he's working on his third item, BKB, still at 28 minutes. Like, this is not going to be an Earthshaker that's providing, I think, a ton of damage. Still on plenty of control, but...
Could land a big Echo Slam. You get some extra B summons in there, a couple boars, a couple extra creeps, some Manta Illusions, whatever.
Forgot about the Wisdom Shrine, 28 minutes. Rue is taking the enemy's Wisdom Shrine. So a little good double off of that.
Big win for the supports here on Team Spirit.
PARIVISION seem content to just play slow for next Roshan.
They are not in any rush. Didn't get to use this butterfly timing at all, but maybe not worried about any MKBs or anything of that nature coming out from the Terrorblade, as Radon's not really close to this Bloodthorn he's eyeing up.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before that Bloodthorn is done.
I mean, Roche available potentially in 20 seconds here. We're already back. As we see the Scotty come in from Terrorblade, I fully suspect Spirit will contest this next Roshan if they have everybody available and all resources online. They're already kind of pre-smoking. Trying to look for the fight that would lead into some map control. Satanic, he has BKB done. He's playing on 2,500 HP. Very tough target to jump and burst.
Final tier 2 falls. Spirits couldn't really put up a defense. All of these heroes are still here. They're baiting out the Dusa right now. But PARIVISION not likely to take the bait, so it's up to Rue to try and scout a better opportunity for Spirit to initiate.
That is an illusion bait they will not take.
Instead, PARIVISION, they smoke and back away a little bit.
No one. He could just run right into Laurel here before he gets back to base.
Laurel, ooh, no one. And Laurel both blink away. It's going to be Rue who dies to this smoke instead, who came a little bit late to the party and ends up getting scouted by the dust.
Top wave gets cut as Collapse defends mid, so this is kind of an awkward situation for PARIVISION to force the high ground, especially with Roshan potentially spawning here. You lose this fight. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Spirit have comeback potential.
They got Collapse back onto Collapse. The roar goes out, but he got off the Stone Gaze. That is seriously going to save so much of it. Look at no one. He's right in the middle of nowhere with a Scotty, a Stone Gaze. He is done for. Now Collapse.
Echo.
Oh, big Echo comes out from Laura, already taking out the Ancient Apparition. No Ice Blast here. Huge advantages for Team Spirit as long as they can deal with Satanic, who's already turned into the Medusa. Blocked out by the Fisher, and Radon is just going after every other hero but Satanic. For now, he's going to try and wipe out every other PARIVISION hero.
Oh, they're kiting him out.
Spirit up to kite Satanic as much as possible. The Gleipnir rids that one with a Manta, gets a little bit further distance. Chain stun up again. Good.
Be careful these illusions. Doing a little bit of damage to Maposhka here.
Yeah, Maposhka's getting pretty low. Collapse is also low on mana, but he's willing to use the rest of his mana to try and finish off Satanic.
Don't wait for him.
Goes out to stop it. He's saved. Nightclass, he was coming in with the box, but he gets denied as Laurel. Expert read of the situation. Toro, what a bold move there, just to make sure that Spirit lose nothing in the fight. He uses his Thunder to bail out Laurel just in case.
It's up again in 30 seconds, not a long cooldown. And that's going to accelerate this Bloodthorn for the Terrorblade. What a fight from Spirit, but at the same time, mis-execution from PARIVISION. Yep. They go for the toss back on the Dusa and they throw the Wheel of Wonder in behind him, but there was no follow-up stun on the Dusa. The Stone Gaze just comes out. There's an A blast on an illusion. Not an illusion you expect, but that's going to put that ult on cooldown here and give Spirit a chance to replenish the resources.
Yeah, I think I feel like he's had that Linkins for a little bit, but if I saw that right, they did not block out the Linkins, and DM used the roar on that.
Just were not able to chain stun him.
Now Rue. 15 seconds till the Ancient Apparition.
Nightclass paw back.
Morphling is back up. If they can get a dive back, this is just going to be a free Roche perhaps for Spirit.
Too bold on the map versus Bounty Hunter, not respecting Spirit's pace right now. And they sense blood in the water.
Oh yeah, they're gonna slow down DM. They know that PARIVISION, they have stumbled in this game one. They've given up their advantage, and they will take everything from PARIVISION they can before they claim the ultimate prize in the Aegis of Immortality.
This is why Spirit's such a deadly Grand Finals team. You just cannot slip up for them. You can't miss-execute. You throw one little play, one little toss fight, and the whole game can spiral out of your control. Instead of getting this Roshan, playing it safe, PARIVISION went for a riskier fight. They're going to pay a huge price here as the blast will slow this down a little, but there's no contest.
Yeah, no one. He was coming in through the side. This is the guy who has the most Aegis steals in the history of Dota. Was hoping to make another one happen, but the Ice Blast, it comes in and scouts that, yeah, Team Spirit, they're really not low, and you lost the vision to finish off the Roshan. Radon will take it freely with no interception.
This is super nice for Yatoro because now he did not go for some super defensive item build. He went offensive items. Hurricane Pike into the Scotty, into straight Bloodthorn. He doesn't have the BKB, doesn't have a Lincoln Sphere of his own. A just lets him play really aggressive with the DPS that Spirit need. So this is a huge moment in this game. How much Spirit can get off this Aegis timer? What can they do to punish PARIVISION around the map? We've seen them be extremely elusive as well. PARIVISION are no strangers to ratting out a game.
Yeah, and they've already activated that plan with no one running down lanes with his Shadow Blade. He's going to be a nuisance there. I'm sure the Morphling is probably going to try and get the TV again so he can create his own Terrorblade illusions and do something similar.
So much of this game comes down to the initiations. Does the Tiny find the right jump? Does the Shaker find the right jump? What happens after that? You got to chain these stuns properly.
Ice Blast just to scout a little bit of information. What is Team Spirit up to? Well, you know what Radon's up to. Keeping the push coming.
That is a big item. That's your counterplay to this Butterfly. You didn't even really get a good fight out of it for Satanic.
Team
This isn't
Spirit.
the end-all be-all, but man, he is hitting way harder than he used to.
Yeah. They ever get that initiation from Laurel, you get the stuns combined with that Bloodthorn.
Radiant's top tower.
You're going to blow up a hero super quickly.
I mean, you can blow up anybody. You have the damage now to evaporate this Morphling if the Terrorblade is in a front position.
Yeah. And they won't have saves until 9 Class can get his Lotus, right? Because they're going to cover that initiation with the Global Silence.
Yep.
So 9 Class, he knows he has to rush the Lotus Orb first item. And he's actually not that far away from it.
It's just a tough build-up, especially when you're not winning the team fights.
Yeah.
It's one of the rougher games we've seen from him. He's just been shut down. That buyback cost him a lot, too.
Can't say I've seen this too often. DeCall is hanging out on the high ground there with a Blink Dagger Ancient Apparition. Collapse making sure there's no vision up there. He's like, what the hell?
Depending on the timings, might have been able to get that shrine, but no chance there.
Toss back onto Yatoro.
He is
No
very
wheel.
low.
Wheel a little bit off the mark there, and he instantly uses the Thunder. Does not want to blow the Aegis just yet if he can afford to get away. Low jumps in after the Ancient Apparition. Global Silence gets put to use. He still got the kill on Yatoro. This is bad for Spirit as he comes back in second line. Fisher trying to protect him, but no one all-ins on it. BKB, a toss combination that brings Yatoro down a second time.
What were they doing there? Nobody on Spirit was even close to that fight. Maposhka's in the triangle. The Bounty Hunter's in the bottom jungle. Collapses at their Wisdom Shrine. You look at the dots on the map, nobody was backing anybody up there except the Shaker who, yeah, you throw an Echo on an A, so what? You gotta remember, downside of not having the BKB on this Terrorblade, you get caught out, you get chain stunned. You just get 100-0 very easily. And now PARIVISION taking advantage of a slip up. They're gonna be the ones to push high ground here.
Collapse trying to hold the base. 60 seconds left for Yatoro to come back up. That is a long time. A lot of buildings are likely to fall here. Satanic going to work on one side, DM and no one on the other. Collapse just bouncing back and forth, not sure which wave to try and save here. They go after no one because no one used BKB earlier. They've got an opportunity. DeCallis jumps in with his Ice Blast. A little bit of a stun is just enough, and Laurel, he's going to fall. Satanic cuts in from the mid-wave, takes down one. Now going after the Medusa. Use the roar, long stun, follow-up avalanche toss as well, and Collapse running out of mana, gets off the stone gates, a couple more shots, a hawk that locks him down, and Ice Blast followed up, and that is enough stuns. They got him.
That hawk hit seals his fate. Spirit bleeding more heroes. No buyback available for that Medusa. He bought out for the Hex. No buyback available for the Earthshaker. This could just be Megas off one misplay mid. You never got a fight out of that Bloodthorn. You never got a team fight to defend your base.
Spirit went from trying to hold the base long enough for Yatoro to come back up, and now in turn, Yatoro will have to try and hold the base for the rest of his team.
I don't even know if you can fight this.
It's Megas. There is no way he can stop this. Question is, how much does PARIVISION want to keep pushing this?
I don't think Satanic knows the word back right now.
15 seconds left. He can turn back into another Terrorblade Metamorphosis. Radon, he's going to have to come in and do something crazy here.
Wait for Laurel to be back up, and then you go with the Metamorph. He got
got the initiation. Global Silence comes in just a tad bit late. That's okay. Radon can shrug off some of the damage with his Manta, but at half HP, BKP, the tier 4s are falling fast. He needs to stand and protect his throne, but at the same time, they can't actually chase after PARIVISION. 15 seconds left on the Medusa. Satanic from 2,000 units away is banging on your Ancient.
Gotta do
and
something.
Team Spirit, they gotta get to him somehow. A Fissure goes out, trying to stall him up. BKB activated by Satanic. He wants to all in it, and Collapse has already said, this is done. This game one is over. Even before Yatoro falls, the Ancient goes down.
Maybe you just can't beat Satanic. I don't know. That might be the prophecy of this tournament. As we talked about the momentum PARIVISION need to come into this best of 5. You want to get off to a good start here. You don't want to get stuck in a 5-game series where it starts to take its toll. They just spiraled that game out of nowhere. One misstep mid with that Terrorblade. You feed away that kill, and all of that resurgence from Spirit.
Or at least a switch up in the positions of where these heroes are going to be operating. We thought that maybe it was just going to be kind of a run it back scenario, but they actually switched over and they're going to do a carry Medusa this time around.
Looks way better to me. I agree. They should have done this last time. The game is just way better for the Medusa than the Terrorblade because there's a lot of illusion clear between the Spotlight that we didn't mention last game, but that thing was shredding some of the TV illusions in the fights. Yeah. Now you have Brewmaster on top of it. This is a pretty clean Medusa carry. I think if you get 5 or 6 items on Radon here, you're pretty happy to carry this in the late game. It's going to be pretty hard for PARIVISION to match you there, but they opted for the last pick Brewmaster. They did not go for that Morphling rerun. They went for a faster lineup. They are going to try and take early Roshans. They're going to try and take over the map with the TA traps and some fast Sand King gameplay. This could easily be a 20-minute win for PARIVISION. We've seen them do this before with the Sand King mid lineups when they have a lot of tempo and pace to play with. That's the big concern here if you're a Team Spirit fan. Can you weather the early game storm? Can you get into that late game where, yeah, I don't have a doubt Spirit will win this in the Ultra Late. I have no doubts about that. But can they get there? And we have seen PARIVISION play incredibly fast in some of these games. So this is the tempo switch up that we talked about. Being hit here, full force. And we'll see how Team Spirit react. If they can weather the storm, if they can weather the lanes, and how much this Bounty Hunter Tiny combination can get done versus the Sand King enabling a very strong backline support to him.
Miposhka is going to stumble into a 3-man gank. He's instantly going to try and TP away. No stuns here, so he will survive, but he's going to be limping along back into the lane. Close call, but First Blood is still out there. Feels like when it comes to the draft difference here, it feels almost like a philosophical difference approach to this draft where, I mean, frankly, I feel like Team Spirit's draft kind of just looks terrible, right?
Oh, that's your opinion, man.
I mean, come on. You've got an off-lane Terrorblade. You've got a Bounty Hunter Silencer. You don't have a whole lot of stuns running around. Miposhka is actually still maybe going to give up First Blood. This time to just 9 class. He TP'd away, and yet still maybe falls. That final hit is going to be enough. 9 class. First Blood acquired.
He was so patient. He was hiding in the small camp, waiting for Miposhka to come down. There was no salve on that Silencer to salve back up. And I was about to say, that sequence for Miposhka wasn't too bad because he got the D ward off of it. And you did get the TP out of Ducalis going in bottom. So, A, he's missing some mana. Doesn't have a TP if Ducalis were to die. But instead, you bleed out the Silencer. He's going to have to walk back. In fact, he's thinking about just waiting for the TP 15 seconds. And Radon, he is feeling the pain of that mistake right now.
Yeah, he's not happy whatsoever.
Free lane for DM at the start. They're going to get the equilibrium. Small camp is blocked. No way to reset this right now. Tough start from Spirit on this safe lane. Though Medusa, I think, can weather this lane a bit better than we saw Terrorblade in the last one.
That is true. And now with Miposhka back into the lane, Radon should be fine because he's got triple mangoes on Miposhka. So he's ready to force feed Radon if needed.
Love to get the Lotus here for the Medusa as well if you can shove this lane in.
I guess the question for me is like the rotating the Medusa into the carry position. Yeah, it screws over the Brewmaster. It screws over maybe some of what PARIVISION were planning to do in this game. But is it worth being able to counter the counter that's coming out from PARIVISION if it puts together a lineup that can't necessarily take PARIVISION in team fights?
That is a big concern. Like, what is the AoE coming out from this Team Spirit lineup to match Brewmaster, Sand King, Ringmaster with TA traps for Vision?
It's a tiny.
Again, it's just like so much. It's so much on Laurel. Yeah. I will say I think I have more confidence in the Tiny being able to carry games like this than the Earthshaker. Earthshaker's pretty dependent on the Echo Slam cooldown to make plays and open up something in the team fight, whereas Tiny can just do it non-stop. He does not rely too much on his ultimate. So your playmaking options are a bit faster here. Your entryway into the fight's a bit more solid. If Laurel has a good game, I believe he can do a lot of work here, and he's off to a very good start mid. Free lane for him. So he's just going to farm it up, D-Ward if he can get it and abuse these water runes to the maximum.
We said Laurel was going to be crucial to the success of Team Spirit in Game 1. It didn't work out for the Earthshaker. We'll see how it fares for the Tiny. How's this bottom lane doing? Rue and Collapse. Well, immediately they're going to go on to Satanic as we put our gaze onto what's going on in this bottom lane.
Headdress off lane terribly. I feel like I'm playing with Eternal Envy again. Only he was right. And
I forgot he did that. Oh, that's a throwback.
This is really
right
giving me some PTSD right now, especially since we are in North America. But it's good now.
Is it?
I think. Who knows? It's working out here. It's actually a very efficient item on the hero. And it's done some work versus AA in this lane. Early Headdress versus AA is pretty efficient because this hero is just all about chip damage off the
Back over to top lane. Maposhka gonna get low here. Mystic Snake not quite enough to finish off 9 class. Radon has to chase after him, and he doesn't have the movement speed to do so.
Strongman Tonic saving lives again, and that was because he had the kill earlier on Maposhka.
Yep. When
he went down that ramp, so that early kill really set Spirit back in this safe lane. You're still free farming the Medusa, but Maposhka's game is out the window, man. Gonna have to do some recovery.
I'm gonna put
hero to do it.
Free farming in quotations there because there is still 7 denies on this Brewmaster. GM's done a very good job of controlling the CS even in the one-on-one.
I mean, the upside is Maposhka's been off the lane so much, it's a lot of solo XP for Radon.
That is true, yeah.
So that's the optimist way of looking at it. But we do see no one tip Maposhka out as he TP'd mid and got nothing done with it. Can't refill that bottle anymore. Lane very far up for Yatoro. There's nothing you can do here. And neither pull is available right now. Same thing in this lane though. Lane is super far up for Satanic. You have to be worried about getting run down this lane with the Bounty Hunter, Blood Grenade chasing you if you ever get chipped down a bit.
Yep. And it's really hard for him to offensively set up just because these heroes have so much armor. There's going to be those mangoes being fed over to Radon. Do they have enough of them though?
That was costly. That was a lot of mango feed. You still have a Lotus to give over. But man, the equilibrium in this lane is just hurting Spirit so much. They need this lane back. They need pulls for the Silencer XP, and they are not getting it. Very good control here out from the PARIVISION off-lane duo. And they're going straight back in.
All right, well, that Lotus is going to have to be put to use, and it's not good enough. Now Maposhka, who's still holding on to that Lotus, maybe run down his, Nightclass is going to hop over the trees, get in front of Maposhka. They'll get 2 kills out of this. 4-0 start for PARIVISION when they're already up 1 game in this best of 5.
And he used the Lotus plus the Blood Grenade there. Just nothing going Spirit's way in that top lane.
Well, Laurel baits out the Power Rune. No one controls it, I guess, by using an Epicenter, but sadly it wasn't bottom lane. Instead, it's going to be top. Are they going to go for Rue or are they going to go for the Power Rune? Chases after the Invis, but Rue managed to walk it off and will control the Rune long enough. They're going to try and get it over the Tiny, but Radon left alone in the top lane. 9 class and DM just relentless in their
the body block.
top lane. The body blocking is beautiful. Radon hit by another dagger. Not quite enough damage. Now the Avalanche. It's going to turn this fight around. Radon's going to be tossed over on top of DM. They underestimated just exactly how much regen Radon had left.
No snake bounce for the follow-up. That is the Dusa problem. Sometimes you abuse this hero and sometimes she abuses you back. This is not a super high damage lane. They've just been abusing the fact that the lane is so far up they can run this Dusa down, run her on the clock. The illusion blocking is super nice on top of that.
I am so surprised Laurel did not walk in with that Invis rune to try and get the Wisdom Shrine.
I would be pretty greedy. I mean, overall, though, this early game got salvaged by Spirit a bit. This top lane is not going well, but if you actually look at the net worth, they're pretty happy with the outcome. All 3 of their cores are neck and neck. You have a pretty slow start for this TA, who's actually bottom of the barrel here. Well, it's okay here for Spirit. I think PARIVISION, they just want to get this blink up on the Sand King as fast as possible. And if you can fight with this Brewmaster ulti, this is a really strong power point in this early game. Not a spell Team Spirit want to skirmish into at all. They have nothing to stop it and very little to combat it early until the Medusa is dealing a lot of right-click damage. Yeah, the Medusa being ahead of the Templar Assassin, but I would also say that, would you agree that Templar Assassin as a carry is more affected by have a bad laning phase than Medusa is? That rotation cuts 9 class off before he can get too deep into the jungle. It's so needed from Maposhka here. He needs any kind of extra gold, any XP. He'll take the +1 int as well. Yeah, he's still level 3. That is rough. This is how Silencer games go sometimes. the laning phase can be really rough for this hero, and if it is, you just become food on the map.
Yeah.
Let's see what PARIVISION try and do with this Brewmaster ulti. Still available here. Can shove this wave in, pressure the tower. They're going to rotate both supports straight back up here. Is Miposhka going to die again? That is the question.
Dire's top tower is
Nine
under
Class
attack.
just right back to where he started. Getting some vision on Radon. They're going to try and get the kill on him. He is a little bit low on mana. Oh, missed the dagger. That's really awkward. Gets off the snake. DM's going to try and cut him off here. He doesn't have the stone gaze, so he leveled up his other abilities first, so has no way out of this one. No one eventually cuts him down. That is going to be yet another kill for PARIVISION off this laning phase.
I mean, that is some of the benefit of 9 Class's playstyle. You think this guy's just sitting here
Radiant's
annoying
middle
you, stealing your
tower is
Centaur
under
creep.
attack.
In reality, it ends up being a 4-man gank. You just die.
Yeah.
You lose your Madstone off the camp as well.
Dire's top
Insult
tower
to injury.
is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
But in turn, can Team Spirit do anything to shut down Satanic, who already has built himself a nice little defensive pool of these traps around his safe lane tower? He's ready if Spirit try and get aggressive and dive him.
Again, your only playmaker is the Tiny, so if you want to bring the Tiny down here on a smoke, yeah, you can kill him. But it's a huge investment. You're potentially giving up a power rune, you're giving a lot of farm to no one, and that gank is not guaranteed.
Dire's top tower
You're
They
just
do
trading
need to
farm.
start finding kills, not necessarily for no one, but for Rue. He needs that experience so you could start getting those track kills.
I mean, PARIVISION might get this, they're going to get this top tier one without using the Primal Split. That's huge, because now you can make another play with it. It's a lot of extra gold in the DM with this free tower last hit, pushing him towards that fast Radiance. And the supports are pretty far ahead. The XP on Spirit supports is going to really hurt them as we go into this mid game. Whereas the AA Ringmaster, they're already almost to level 6. Haste rune for no one off the top 50-50, and the stacks are being built. Everything's starting to come together here for PARIVISION that they want in this early game.
All that's left is Ducalis getting his level 6.
Oh, Courierslin?
Doesn't wait. He wants to play in this triangle because he knows the stacks are going to be done soon.
And what's the XP?
Yeah, if he can't take away the gold, then at least take away whatever experience he can.
Lock it up too.
Yeah, he wants to see if
9 Class knows.
They know about the situation. 9 Class is such a good read of what 4 positions are going to be doing in these situations. He finds the bounty hunter, and they will claim most of this experience completely free of Spirit influence.
Ducalis already has the Ice Blast online. That'll give you the Wheel of Wonder. These supports are so far ahead on the side of PARIVISION. Any fight is favorable for you right now. Spirit in dodge mode. Just praying that Laurel can get a fast Blink Dagger, stem the bleeding here.
I don't love the fact that you say that Spirit's in dodge mode, because I feel like they were kind of in dodge mode for a good amount of game 1 as well.
Well, that's right. Go to this Terrorblade Medusa lineup. You're just opening the door for PARIVISION to set the pace, set the tempo, go for a faster lineup, and have all the playmaking in the world. And just saying, hey, we're going to limit the damage, we're going to split push the map, we're going to go for a later timing. That's a very dangerous proposition against this team. We have seen them clean house against some of the best in the world. When you get too greedy, there I remind you of the Midas game from yesterday.
Oh yeah. I don't need any reminders about that.
No, don't need some more mental damage from it.
Epicenter Blink Dagger is ready to go for no one. He wants to put it to use in the mid lane. A Burrow Strike that lands alongside an Epicenter. Throw an Ice Blast on top of that. Any hero will die to that combination for sure. Instead, it's going to be Miposhka who dies as the amp damage is protected and picked up for no one.
It's just not a place you want to be with this silencer. Nothing good is going to happen to you around this mid lane. Rue
He doesn't have the best damage, but he is keeping up with Rue, and now they have the dust, they're going to get this kill, adding even more to DM, who doesn't get the last hit, but he does get an assist. This speeds him along to an extremely fast Radiance. This is going to be 2 games in a row where DM is put into a position to take over the map.
He is just having completely free games here. And this should be concerning. This is going to be a very strong Radiance Brewmaster in the team fight. Maybe you have a chance to burst him down with a tiny combo into global, but you're looking at the burst damage, same issue as last game. Outside of Laurel, there's not a lot to back up that initiation. If I'm PARIVISION, I have a lot of confidence playing aggressive right now. I'm just going to follow no one and do whatever he wants. And if he wants to keep slaying supports over and over, I mean, why not?
As Miposhka shows, Miposhka just wants to get his level 6. He wants that global silence. Laurel, he's not going to be able to get the return kill on Dakalis, backing away from his tower, which might die now. You know what? Just keep running that epicenter. He's just going to keep laying it down. Say, you can't get close.
The trade-off is you're farming your 2 side lane carries. It just feels like PARIVISION are getting more of their lineup online. The supports are way more enabled in this game. They're going to get this mid tower for free. Despite getting the blink up on Laurel at an okay time, you're unable to make a play with it. Got to think about these 14-minute wisdom shrines as well.
Yeah, I mean, who does Laurel play with? He still doesn't have level 6s on his supports. And they're not kind of supports that really help you in the damage department.
Global silence is not that great for Tiny, to be fair. Part of the value of the hero is he can go in, combo somebody, and just be surviving on his own. This isn't a Storm Spirit that can get disabled. It's not an Ember you have to bail out.
Yeah.
You'd rather have more damage follow-up or stun like a Jakiro or something. They do get one of the Wisdom Shrines, and they should get both, yeah. I mean, that's a nice steal.
That is
nice, a very salvaging steal, in fact, because now you're going to have ults on the supports. You can start to play the track game.
That being said, the only reason they're able to do that is just because PARIVISION are so aggressively pushing on your side of the map. They don't want to go halfway across the map to pick up their own Wisdom Shrine. They want to sit in front of your tier 2s. Spirit has lost so much real estate in this map, and it doesn't seem like they have the power to claw it back. We'll see, though. Laurel and Miposhka are going to try and make a move here. Fortunately, he's already made a read of the situation. No one with on his Arcane Rune Epicenter as Yatoro collapse baited out by pushing into the triangle and then immediately backed away.
There's a smoke coming through for the Tiny. So those Wisdom Shrines unlock the ult here for Spirit. Now they kind of want to get aggressive. The wards got planted by PARIVISION though. These are deep ops in this triangle and behind that old tier 1 bottom. So they see a lot of space right now. They're going to see where these cores are farming. It's going to help them dodge these plays, and Tormentor instantly cleared through with this TA lineup. No contest. Late to the party if you're Spirit.
This is a smoke that went all around the world, and Spirit have yet to run into a hero with it.
You are flying in the pipe for collapse. He's holding it on this courier. He will complete it now.
Pipe versus a Radiant, but one hero is going to offer significantly more in the team fight than the other. The primal split of DM yet to be used.
Yeah, this might be one of those games the first split ends up being a level 2 split. You just keep farming, keep scaling up to it. And, I mean, level 2 split is where this hero becomes really scary if you don't have ways to clear through the Brilliance easily. Which is just not the case until Medusa has insane damage. Even then, you can toss the Deuce and play the fight versus everybody else.
Yeah. Track there, don't care. DM goes to the other side of the map anyway. Confident that Team Spirit won't be able to make a move. No one is conscientious of the fact that the mid lane would be where Spirit would strike. He sits behind the tower and Burrow strikes at the first sign of danger. Collapse still trying to make use of his pipe. There goes that spotlight, clearing out the illusions.
It's a heavy committal for Spirit. They're bringing a lot of heroes to this mid lane. This is your pipe timing. Shield Rune on Laurel. In theory, you should be confident here. You should even want to potentially toss someone back if you can get vision behind the tier 1 with this bounty hunter. Just play it safe, take the tier 1. This tier 1 bottom is still up, by the way, full HP.
Spirit was so certain that PARIVISION was going to contest that tower, but I feel like PARIVISION made a correct read of the situation, which is like, they have so heavily committed into this one position on the map, we're just going to get so much more everywhere else.
Is it too greedy? That's the question. Can you split up this much versus a bounty hunter? Will Rue eventually find that pickoff as he's scouting Satanic down here? No detection.
Yeah, Satanic leaving the safe haven that he had underneath the tower, and all those traps are going to go for him. TPs are coming in, but it's not going to be in time. Satanic's in trouble. Maybe it is. Burrow Strike comes out. The pipe trying to stop the damage. The Templar Assassin is limping along. 60 HP, 30 HP, 10. A refraction goes off in the last second, and he walks away. Spirit baited into trying to kill the kid, but you can't stop Satanic.
He knows his limits so well, and PARIVISION so fast on the response. No one is there in an instant. Bails his carry out with a nice Burrow Strike. Nothing is for free in this game, especially for Team Spirit supports who continue to suffer. Just cannot find that one track kill to get back in this game. I mean, now you're putting a lot of your hope on this Radon Medusa, right? This game is starting to just shift towards, can Yatoro eventually carry it?
Yeah, this rate, because you're going to start getting items on the supports. They're going to get tanky. They're going to get their utility items. So the Tiny's going to have a hard time bursting down heroes.
There's your pick off.
If it's a support left in the river against 2 heroes, that one's a bit easier, and that is a killing spree.
That's a killing spree plus a track kill. Golds can swing really fast if you start to build some momentum with his bounty hunter.
That is true. PARIVISION, maybe this is about that time that they do need to start grouping up a bit more. Utilize some of that team fight presence that they got. Collapse, keep me away from DM. Certainly cannot take a fight against a Brewmaster.
This is a time you would want to start threatening that Roche, because you have the level 2 Primal split, still haven't used it. You have the Deso for the Satanic TA. He already has Blink Dagger done as well, eyeing up that shard.
DeCallis right next to Laurel. Laurel, beautiful trap set up by him, but his combination is not nearly enough. Thanks to a raindrop and an Essence Ring, DeCallis is actually very tanky.
Instant TP bottom. Do they know DM's down here? Or are they just trying to preemptively set up for anybody who defends this bottom tier 1, which is still standing with full HP, by the way. Really limiting the map movement here from Spirit. PARIVISION did a solid job defending that with the TA. And the upside of defending that tier 1 bottom is the second Spirit commit for it, that Roshan is completely open. So they're going to see some heroes down here off that ward in the lane and just commit for the Roshan.
Yeah, so awkward. That once again, Spirit, a smoke move with the Tiny, moves to the wrong side of the map. PARIVISION focused on taking objectives. First, the last time it was the Tormentor, when Team Spirit, the initial smoke went up top, and now Laurel might be late to the party for this Roche.
He's smoking across the entire map right now. He will be here in time. But do you jump into this?
Is the rest of his team going to be able to back this up? I mean,
you're going to
away the silencer right now. DM is going to go after him with his Drunken Master Facet to try and catch up.
There's no way you fight this. That is an Ags Sandstorm Sand King you have to jump into. That's a level 2 Brewmaster with Radiance. I mean, Tiny combo strong, but not that strong.
Yeah, it's just impossible. So all Spirit can get out of it is more time for Collapse and more time for Yatoro. They are all in on double carries, persevering through the PARIVISION mid game and managing to push it late. No one. Bro strike away, a little too late on the global silence though.
Oh, miscommunication. I'm not sure he dies there anyway.
That is true. He is.
Now you don't have it.
Really tanky. I mean, maybe it's better they didn't put that together better, because they might have just chased too much after no one and walked right into DM's Brewmaster.
And you're trying to get this butterfly on the Medusa. That could be a turning point in this game. Something PARIVISION could opt to play around. I mean, Satanic T is already just going to MKB though. So you could have the MKB on the TA by the time that butterfly comes out or is impactful in a fight. Just preemptively countering it here.
Slowing him down with the dust and catching Rue. I mean, Team Spirit are just kind of running all over the map trying to dodge away from PARIVISION, so no one has no problem using the Epicenter for a support kill.
Also denying that Wisdom Shrine steal. You cannot lose too many of those to the bounty.
Yeah, that is true.
Radiant's middle tower is
well,
under
Spirit is getting a lot in the meanwhile. I mean, middle and bottom lane are both pushed into the tier 2s, so PARIVISION are going to have to back up, deal with this, as Satanic likely to finish up that tier 2. There it goes.
Their cores are always going to find a farm on this map. You cannot prevent that.
When is it going to be enough farm, though? Because frankly, Collapse isn't going to do that much damage with the Pipe first build. And the Butterfly, it's really good defensively, and it adds some damage to the pool. But when you're up 5k on PARIVISION, I feel like the Deuce is just not really going to be that much of a threat.
You have to fight with your timings here. You have to use Yatoro's strengths exactly when they hit and try and maximize it. Butterfly arrives. This is where you can take a fight and feel confident just heading on in with the Medusa, dealing a serious amount of damage. It's just that PARIVISION, they don't have to take that bait.
No, they don't.
Like, they're not under a huge amount of pressure here with the start they've had. They can continue scaling up these cores. It's not as if they fall off for a very long time. And you have some trap vision to play around to equalize this bounty hunter. Outside of just making a very clutch smoke on the map behind this Tiny, I don't see Spirit starting fights on their turn. The Rue is potentially another source. If you just scout some heroes on the map, this would be a nice little pick off.
Yeah, DeCallis will eventually die. He's trying to do that. Ghost shoving that we're talking about, where you don't show on the map and you just push out the waves with your abilities. But Rue, he is able to scout him out. DeCallis does manage to get his Ice Blast out, so Rue He's going to have to play for his Trinkle Boots for a little bit.
Essence Rings, saving lives out here.
That's true.
I mean, every track kill buys you some time. It's not the prettiest way to play this game, but it is Team Spirit getting through this mid-game. We have still yet to see a primal split. That is kind of absurd.
Yeah, like PARIVISION, I would have expected them to get a little bit more aggressive than they have been. Why do you feel like they are playing this a bit more passive?
They have to react to the lane shove, honestly. They're getting dragged into this game where it's Dusa illusions, Terrorblade illusions, a Bounty Hunter scouting. They're just getting pulled across the map. They can't group as effectively. I think in theory they could have just grouped and walked down one of these lanes to try and push the high ground, but are you happy with the exchange on the map while that's happening? Probably not. Your goal is to just get to the second Aegis where you can do that a lot more confidently and with a lot more authority.
Okay, so there's going to be an even stronger timing still to come. And PARIVISION
yeah, 100%.
are playing for that.
You're looking at that 30, 35-minute high ground. That second Aegis on the TA, you can start that siege, going with the Brewmaster level 3 ulti. So at this point, maybe you just should have skilled stats and bought a Midas. I don't know.
Yeah,
slow game.
We're considering those Midases. A shield. Oh, what? What was that? Laurel just jumped over DM to try and pick up the power rune. He gets it into his bottle. He force stabs up to the high ground. Meanwhile, Avalanche stops no one from getting up there. Center. They got the Ice Blast on him. He's stuck. Oh, force stab goes off and his Thunder save. Spirit expertly defending their mid laner here. Radon is going to stand up to Satanic. I'm not sure if you really want to do that, though. He still has the Aegis. PARIVISION are really trying to force the action right now.
Chasing super deep here.
Yeah, look how far no one's going away from his team, or TM rather.
Did use the Brew ulti. So you have no Brew ult, no AA ult. Aegis running out in 15 seconds.
Night Class actually stuck around a little bit too long. The rest of his core is backing up. No one. He pops the epicenter, goes for collapse. A force staff got him at a distance. A global sound's going off, stopping the extra bit of damage required. Collapse will live, and Radon starts putting in the damage. No one. He's going to be slowed down. Magic goes off. Radon's actually taking a lot of damage. This Templar Assassin is going to work. Force staff's going up. One more hit is all it takes. A Side Blades and a little bit of Radiance Bird will finally bring him to his knees. Collapse. He's going to be up next. Run down by DM. Primal split or no, this Brewmaster is still a menace in these team fights. A desperate TP out. No, that's not going to work for you. Clap down. Double kill for DM. Chasing after more and more. DM next up. It's Laurel. Got the Radiance Burn on him, but as they get deeper and deeper into their side of the map, he'll say, that's good enough for us, boys. Still, though, Satanic falling in that fight.
Both carries overextending a little bit, not respecting the damage that can be pumped into them, especially when that refraction is down or once all that mana is gone. And ultimately, it's the Brewmaster who ends up dealing the most damage of anybody in that exchange. Didn't even have the ult, just ran around, throws the haze, starts right-clicking people. No one wants to commit on him because in theory he's not that big of a threat, and he's just a damage soak. Really hard to punch through this haze as well.
Yeah.
You don't have Evasion Pierce on the side of Spirit right now. There were some misses on that Butterfly, but not enough to save Radon. Did you see the power of the Force Staffs, though? Very good Force Staff usage from Spirit to kite out some of these ults, and that is something PARIVISION need to think about right now.
Oh, they have the same idea on the Sentry Ward combinations, but the wards were already down for PARIVISION, giving them the advantage and giving them the kill on Rue, who will find his way blocked by a Wheel of Wonder.
Bigger find is DM if you can.
Oh, Gorgon's Grass just nipping at his heels, but DM does manage to cruise along just ahead of it.
He's just so hard to lock down.
Yeah.
You have one stun in the Spirit lineup, it's Avalanche. You have a toss, Yule's follow-up, but that's it. This Brewmaster is going to be a menace this game because he can just play and hold that ult forever.
Yeah, and in his regular form, he can go and be a Storm Brawler and have hyper evasion between the Radiant and the Storm Brawler evasion.
Radiant's middle tower.
Even the status resistance from the Void stance could be pretty nice versus Tiny if you just run in.
Yeah. Magic
resistance, whatever you want to do, it's all good here. Do have Radon top of the net worth chart, though. That is something for Spirit. This is a very good Medusa game. You cannot underrate how strong Yatoro is going to be on the front line of those fights.
How many items does he need to become the strongest hero in the game, though? You're saying it's a good Medusa game, but Medusa is also kind of a slower hero, usually plays for later timings.
I think around the fourth item, you're going to feel pretty good. Okay. That fourth to fifth territory is when you're starting to think, I'm just going to 1v5 this game.
Okay, so once he gets that next damage item, right? He's going to get Silver Edge, and then he's likely to get either MKB or Disperser.
Yeah, one of those two, your damage picks up. That's when the fight becomes pretty scary for PARIVISION. That's when you have to start thinking about tossing his Medusa or just killing everybody else.
which means Spirit are just playing for survival right now. Rue spotted by the daggers. They keep on getting thrown out, and he's not making it through that gate, that's for certain. So pickoff happens there right as we're in potential Roshan spawning time. So Spirit are not too far away from their timing on the Dusa, but this is where PARIVISION are about to get their strongest, right in the middle of the mid game and on that second Roshan.
Put an Aegis on Satanic, you can do a lot of damage on this map right now. He's hitting hard, early MKB into BKB with a serrated Shiv. This Templar Assassin will absolutely shred you. The only reason his damage didn't look that impressive is because he was throwing into Butterfly Medusa without MKB earlier.
Right.
It's going to ramp up incredibly fast right now. And this Roshan, this feels like a Rosh you kind of have to contest if you're Spirit, but I don't think you feel good about contesting this. Just kind of got to run in there and hope it works out for you. See what Laurel can find. He has Arcane Rune. Incredibly good rune for Tiny in this fight.
He goes inside the pit, nobody's there. PARIVISION reading the situation, backing away, and now DM's going to start leading the charge. The Ice Blast and the Wheel of Wonder and the Epicenter all in on Radon. They're going to try and finish up this Medusa before the Stone Gate goes out. He managed to get that, but still, with the AoE damage, they burn him down rather easily. Spirit get overwhelmed by the mid-game of PARIVISION and fall right into their trap, fighting PARIVISION head-on in a 5 versus 5, and they will lose 4 heroes for it.
This Brewmaster is just an absolute frontline menace. They don't have anything to throw on DM when he just runs face first into them. 6-0 in 8 games, dealing so much damage, being so annoying. Once more, the highest damage in that fight is the Brewmaster. Just getting in there, getting the job done. If a 4-staff came out on Radon, as these ults are coming out, that could be a completely different fight. But Laurel used the one on himself, and Rue could not get in there in time and gets frozen.
Oh, yeah.
And by now, all the mana's gone. This fight's just over at this point. You can't Sunder Medusa, it's irrelevant. It's just not a carry you can bail out with the Sunder.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's an awkward bit of dissynergy there between the off lane and safe laner of Team Spirit. And as a result, they didn't even finish up that Roshan. I love the fact that PARIVISION goes straight for taking a lane of barracks, and then they'll back up and take that Roshan. Because if Spirit want to contest them a second time, I feel like PARIVISION say, hey, have at it, man. We'll take
100%.
that fight again.
100%. Like, this is where your lineup's peaking right now. You will take any 5-on-5, especially if it's a 5-on-5 where Spirit feel pressure to go into PARIVISION's lineup.
Yeah.
Again, you're going into the Ag Sandstorm, you're going into the Brewmaster. It's so miserable.
That Brewmaster has an Assault Cuirass. Nice pickoff, though. Toss back on a 9 class. Finds an opening.
It's a Rosh opening.
Yeah, Spirit.
Doesn't have buy.
I mean, I feel like you have to force the Rosh.
You absolutely force it here. Again, you don't want to be in a position where you have to fight into PARIVISION. You'd rather make them go into your Medusa. With you holding a position, are they confident enough to do it, though?
I feel like PARIVISION are certainly going to try and contest this one. Toss back is going to miss because of the Manta. DM. Now that he's got the Void Brawler, he's going to chase after these heroes.
He's just going away,
immediately using the Primal Split. All of Spirit have to back away now.
That is big if you can reset here.
Yeah.
Getting that ult out of him. Worth a lot, and he's completely alone. There's no follow-up here from PARIVISION.
Yeah, I mean, no one is within striking distance if he really wants to, if there's some sort of opening that presents itself, but talking about the Epicenter on the other side, this Rue's gonna see this. He's gonna try and put a stop to it. No! The damage doesn't come in time, and no one strikes the blow. Mapochko goes down. Media buyback couldn't be used. Laurel trying to get the toss up in the air onto no one. Activated the BKB. Walking away. Big old tanky DM starts pushing forward. He is going to be the first target that Spirit run into through their buyback, and they can't bring him down.
It feels like you have to make something happen here if you're Spirit. You got so many ults out of PARIVISION. You have 60 seconds here to use it. Can you find an opening with this Tiny, with this Bounty Hunter? You have the Silver Edge on Radon as well. He can run in and give you some vision to potentially look for something. Not be too afraid of getting jumped on.
I mean, frankly, it feels like Team Spirit are just running into the same brick wall. Even if they don't have some of those ultimates, it still feels like PARIVISION are the better for it.
But, I mean, are you supposed to sit here and let Primal Split and Epicenter come back up? That's just going to feel worse in 50 seconds here.
Guess them's the breaks when you got an off-lane Terrorblade and a safe lane Medusa.
That is this Tricore. Your capabilities are limited, especially in how you start fights. And they're going to give up this window.
Top lane, it's beginning to play a little bit of havoc on those tier 4s. You can ignore it for some time, but eventually you have to go back. And once you do, you forfeit that Roshan.
PARIVISION's patience pays off again. They will get back to their ultimates and they will get the Roshan that they came here for.
Spirit, they're going to be on their last legs now because Roshan going into PARIVISION, Aegis into the pockets of Satanic here. One final push is coming your way. I don't know if Spirit can actually get enough farm and hold their base.
His timing looks overwhelming. You just finished Shiva's on the Sand King. BKB is done for the TA and no one.
If anybody's going to be able to do this, it has to be Laurel getting good tossbacks, but if he gets caught before he can get back to the base, it would have been disastrous. Fortunately, he does manage to
I
dodge.
find no one top.
Oh, that is really
huge
big.
Pick off.
Double invis, they find the opening. Stun after stun, Gorgon's Grasp, another BKB has to be used by no one defensively here. Radabatos into the Wheel of Wonder, pushing him into it. That's gonna be Rue dead. No one sees that, goes for the other support. They should be able to get both of them out of this with this epicenter. Radon makes a break for the corner of the map. He still has his TP, but he's not using it yet.
I mean, just time, that's all you're buying right now. Sacrifice the supports, it's been the motto the entire game to find some farm on these cores and try and get Radon to that MKB where you have some damage in the fight. But this is where this PARIVISION lineup is designed to end the game right now.
Yeah.
You have your second Roshan, you have the TA's damage, your team fight is overwhelming.
Radon trying to draw some attention away, but PARIVISION, they're just gonna group down, push in mid.
And Spirit need to find a way for this Terrorblade to have impact in the team fight. Because again, you're not sundering the Medusa.
Yeah.
You might be able to sunder the Tiny if you bait that out enough.
I mean, maybe it's the build. Maybe you should have gone Armlet Dagon.
That is, I don't know about that one, but you know, we'll take some note of it.
Here comes the push. PARIVISION.
Oh, they want Radon.
Oh, and they've got him. They surely have got him. Radon, he's got a Manta, he's got a Stone Gaze, he's gonna try and Silver Edge walk away. Ice Blast coming in. It doesn't hit him, but the daggers are slowing him down. They keep a bit of vision, but he's so damn fast.
The dagger.
Another dagger, it hits him again. Did 9 Class just give the opening? Yes, he did. PARIVISION still hunt him down. Radon, caught on the map, can do nothing but put a pittance of damage back on a PARIVISION, but he is caught. He bought out his MKB, and he's dead for 80 seconds. Immediately, Laurel, he goes to cut the midway because he knows the end is nigh. He has to try and get backdoor protection up, but the top wave is already pushed in.
There's nothing you can do about this. The push is going to come, and that was a Medusa finishing MKB. Radon, he bought out for that item. He is dead for 60, no buyback. This is very similar to that game one. One bad death on Yotoro, and PARIVISION are going to take your whole base, might just take the game.
It really does look like they're just going straight for the throne, ignoring the mid lane and hitting the tier 4s. Banner laid down right next to the Ancient. 40 seconds left. Glyph already used this early into it. They're trying to deal with the banner. Rue, he gets spotted as he tries to get any sort of information, instead just flat out dies. 2 dead on the side of Spirit. 3 trying to hold on desperately for 30 seconds. Half a minute, it just seems too long. PARIVISION, it's over. They are going to take this series 2-0 so far. They are 1 game away from taking out Team Spirit and a grand final.
They have looked absolutely dominant. Spirit have found absolutely nothing in these first 2 games. This does not look like the same dominant grand final
team fight. They are not going to let themselves get rolled over in a 3rd game in this series.
This is not a draft you can excuse in terms of tempo, pace, or team fighting. They went all out for it. Very fast, a lot of skirmish power, huge amount of spell power in this early mid-game. No excuses this time. This is not a slow AFK farm lineup. This is a lineup that is designed to brawl, fight, win the early game, snowball, and power up this Leshrac Tiny 1-2 that we have seen them use really well in some of the past games. PARIVISION are going to have a much different beast on their hands this time around, and this team is by no means out of this series yet. However, being up 2-0,
yep.
You close it out here in 3 games after that previous series. That is a sigh of relief right there, and a well-earned championship. If you take down Team Spirit in a grand final coming from the lower bracket, there's no asterisk on that victory.
No.
Like, that is a 100% well-deserved championship, and it is within reach here.
They would be the Slayers of TI champions. PARIVISION, no one in particular. Master of ESL Ones, the man who has won the most ESL Ones in the history of this tournament series. But PARIVISION, I mean, I think it's really interesting that draft-wise, you talk about the tempo. PARIVISION, they may have beat Spirit to the punch Maybe they saw that, yeah, you're going to play fast. You're going to play faster than you did in Game 1 and Game 2. But guess what? We're still going to play faster than you. They're doing an Ame-style safe lane Beastmaster in this game.
It's a nice little switch up. Gives them more pace. I think it gives them some strong lane matchups as well. You could have laned this either way, but this is going to help the Slark especially in that offlane now that you have a ranged core to play with him. 9 class can also leave this Medusa alone a lot earlier than you'd want to leave Beast in this lane with the toss back threat. So this should give Slark some more freedom to play in that early. And we've seen 9 class farming pretty heavily on this hero. He's had a fast Yules both of the games he played it today. You get up another fast Yules in this game, you can be really annoying for the Tinker lineup. You can find these supports on the back line, be a nuisance. There's a lot more AoE he has to worry about. You know, triple AoE stun
Whoa,
cores.
Jakalis, what was that? He just running out there on a quarter of HP.
This is the real question mark for me, techies. Like techies 5 especially. I know 9 class is a techie specialist. And Jakalis, he is no slouch on this hero either, but why did it come out? Where did it come from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a wild pick. And then you look at the support duo, a techie Slark support duo.
They both can launch themselves at the enemy.
Yeah, you can die really quickly.
And I think the worst part for both of these heroes is they're going to be potentially diving into a Leshrac, into a Sand King.
It's a lot.
There is a lot of AoE damage that just feasts on low HP supports.
The Magic Amp is nice here from the mines going off. I mean, that's one thing, but there's not a lot in the team to play with it. It's generally a strat that can be good for Leshrac because you just bring him down super fast off the burst damage.
Sure.
But your cores are kind of physical oriented, so it's kind of weird mismatch in that. I don't know, man. If I saw Techie Slark in my pub, I'd just report both players and move on.
Yeah, that's probably fair enough, but PARIVISION, they don't want to be moving on. The other interesting support pick of the game is this one right here, the Grimstroke. Managed to get first blood on 9 class. This one, though, does feel like, unlike the techies, we can see the purpose of this Grimstroke for sure.
It's a very creative pick. Spirit are not afraid to pick things outside the box. Not a very popular support at the moment because this hero has been nerfed over time. His Ink Swell play is not what it used to be, and we're even seeing Miposhka take up that fine art facet. It's going to be going for those long strokes, just trying to get the damage in the fight, not be as reliant on that Dispel that used to exist. So maybe you can have some nice teamfight impact with the tiny combinations in the early game as well. Sand King, another great partner for this hero. And then, of course, the Soulbind here. A spell that Slark does not like dealing with at all. You can maybe just turn this Slark into kind of an anchor for this Soulbind.
Yep.
It's not about punishing 9 class directly, but if you anchor 9 class to someone else in the fight off a Soulbind, it's pretty obnoxious because then you're forcing a clump out of PARIVISION into all of this massive AoE, right? The Marches, the Leshrac spells, the Sandstorm, the Epicenter, the Avalanche.
Yep.
That's the real power of it here. The Post can definitely pop off.
Got a couple of single target spells they can use. If they get into the later game, Rue actually starts scaling up like we've seen many of these Tinkers do in this tournament, right? Double laser can be super potent, especially with that Aghanim Scepter.
It is on PARIVISION to take these fights with some unique angles. Like, you do not want to just clump into this lineup. You want to have the Monkey King attack from one side, Beastmaster
Rue going to be run down in the top lane.
Yeah,
that is going to be PARIVISION evening up the kill score.
So CS is going Spirit's way, but some of these early kills and some of the camp blocking going PARIVISION's, as well as the courier sniping, double courier kill for 9 class.
Oh, that's juicy.
You do not want to give it to this man. It's just so much extra team gold. Trying to make a move on DM.
DM is actually out of mana here. Does have some mangoes and will be able to survive. Now 9 class brings the creep wave in. Needs to hit Radon a few times. They split up for the Snake, though, not getting punished there. Pounce onto the Grimstroke. Managed to get the Gorgon's Grasp on top of that one. Miposhka. He just
got a lot of stack
down rather easily with all these adding up. Radon, he's going to get run down as well, it seems. There's nowhere to hide. Radon, the trees are cut down, exposing his position. Both on Spirit Fall.
What a sequence for 9 class. Double courier kill into double kill on the lane. 2 permanent essence shifts.
Turning it around, they managed to get the blast off, but Rue is here to help out Laurel. He's going to make sure that his mid laner doesn't get run down as well. This was almost a position where PARIVISION win all 3 lanes in the space of like 1 minute.
Yeah, well, incredible minute for them. They just turned all 3 lanes on their head. They're now winning all 3. The Beastmaster's super far ahead, top off the kills. This Slark is getting a lot more out of this lane than I think Spirit had planned for. Have to find the trade-off somewhere. Leshrac's going to TV back in mid. He will be fooled, but he's falling behind. in levels versus no one. 9 denies on the monkey, plus you force the Leshrac to base. You have almost a full level advantage here. Good place to be if you are no one. Orb of Corrosion already done. Boots online. That chase down potential exists. Not a fun position for Laurel.
Nice use of the mind. Just
okay, that's a lot of damage.
Oh yeah. If you are isolated against the Leshrac, that Diabolic Edict with this facet.
Maposhka chased down a little bit. He really has to be careful when he pushes up against this tree line.
Oh, he bounced the snake into Radon too.
And look at this, no one. He got the Jingu off mid. He has 1 stack left, making the rotation top. He would love to get the kill here on Collapse, but they make the read.
Collapse backs away. Good thing too, because he is the one
look
person who's
at this
having a decent lane.
It's crazy. I don't know how good that actually ends up being, but you will not deward it, that's for sure.
That is true.
And these kind of obs against Slark are extra value. Saw 9 class get stuck trying to deward an obs that was on that cliff above the river here.
Oh yeah, that's true. In an area where he's not really sure where it is, and even when he knows it's there, it's hard for him to get up into the high ground.
And Satanic, he just continues to feed into Collapse. The Vanguard's done for the Sand King. This is where Spirit would kind of like to leave him alone, get a bunch of XP, but he's just being assaulted up here.
Nice burrow strike, dodging the blast off of Ducalis.
The harassment is constant, and you got to start thinking about this Wisdom Shrine. 9 class already making a move for it. You could potentially get both here if you're PARIVISION, and what a boon that would be for this Slark support duo.
Can Rue manage to stand toe-to-toe against this Slark with March of the Machines? Or even worse,
they're bringing a lot of people.
They're going to bring all these heroes in. Rue, he's going to spot some of these heroes. The Inkswell going out, doesn't actually hit a stun on anything. And PARIVISION quick on the retreat. A stun coming in from behind. No one's going to be challenged though. They immediately turn back around, trying to burst down this Monkey King. It's a close call, but with the backup, the rest of PARIVISION, they do manage to kill the Leshrac. A trade-off 1-for-1. A jump in onto the Sand King. He falls as well. Radon shows up, gets a quick kill onto 1. The rest retreating on PARIVISION, and no more stuns on the table. Team Spirit failed to be able to get the kills, failed to be able to defend their Shrine of Wisdom.
They get an Observer Award for their trouble, but both Shrines going PARIVISION's way, that's a huge win. These supports on Spirit, once again, just falling behind in the early XP. At least Maposhka gets to survive for that fight, so he's 5.5, but Rue is going to be really far behind in this game now. I think he's honestly just supposed to commit there with the Inkswell. They threw it on the Tinker and he ran out of the fight.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to.
I think he just go in.
Take it along. Oh my god! That Diabolic Edict damage was insane.
Might get another one here.
Yeah, Ducalis is probably going to get run down here. He's committed to the kill now. He's going to dive in pretty far behind the tier 1, but no punishment. TD. I think it got canceled there.
And PARIVISION lucky this Arcane Rune spawned bottom. That's top, that goes Laurel's way. And Radon, he finds Satanic.
And just like that, Team Spirit striking back.
And this is why you should not count this team out. They have really adjusted the pace here going into this game 3. We're going to get a much more brawl-heavy game on our hands, as opposed to those map-controlling ones in game 1 and 2. And I also take you back to the game that Laurel played this Leshrac on earlier in the tournament, where he just 1v5'd that game.
Yeah.
A game that was not easy to pull back. He is an absolute beast on this hero, and he has backup here. He has some spells from the Grimstroke. He has counter-initiators in the Tiny and the Sand King, and most importantly, he has Tinker to give him some extra HP to work with. Always huge on this hero whenever you can put the heals into him.
Speaking of the beast, he is working towards a fast Aghanim Scepter, but that recent death is really going to slow down his timing. He was so far ahead of anybody else in the game, but now he's only 300 net worth ahead of Radon, who had a rough lane at bottom.
Now, Radon's got to feel good about what's happened in the last few minutes for him here.
I'll take that.
He's nowhere close to this position, and now he's smooth sailing as Laurel. He's going to clean up some stacks here, push you towards that Kaya.
This will be the 3rd game in a row, though, that DM has been given a free lane.
Oh, yeah.
They won that lane, they left that lane, and now he's a Medusa against a tower.
But can he win with Medusa? This Medusa's 0-2 so far in this series.
Yeah.
Like, how strong is this hero? We've seen the damage fall off. We've seen... You got to remember that game 1, Collapse had an absolutely free game on that Medusa, too. And he was annoying in the early mid-game, but then at some point in those team fights, he just did nothing.
Ducalis. Maposhka, one final hit. He gets it.
Now, these little combinations, there's so much threat on the map. This Grimstroke is already level 7.5 at the 950 mark. Like, what? He's absolutely massive. These are the kind of games we expect from Maposhka, and this is when this team is the scariest. And he is just maxing the nukes. 4-0-3 on this Grimstroke with that facet. This is a lot of spell damage on the map right now. PARIVISION need to respect it. Yeah, if you're DM, you can play up on this map. You're not too afraid of getting gone on. But they're putting the Sand King against the Dusa, and they're just trading farm right now. PARIVISION do not like what's happening here.
Trying to make use of the haste route. 9 class is bringing sentries. Collapse keeping up, but they got the stop on it. No one gets into the nick of time with the Boundless Strike. Now they're going to try and defend Collapse. He's got the Vanguard after all. He's going to live for a little while. No one. He might actually get popped.
That's a lot of damage.
Strike through all the heroes. No one dies. The TP in from Maposhka isn't able to get an additional kill, but that was a heavy commitment for PARIVISION to just go even.
Not what they wanted there. I mean, they're going to clean up this tower, but this tower is going to die eventually to this Meteor Hammer no matter what. If you get Maposhka here, that would be nice. He's a level 8 support right now.
Yeah, I almost feel like Team Spirit should maybe defend their 5 position, but Maposhka is going to be left behind.
That's a big death. A lot of XP to claim here. 9 class will easily gobble it up.
Another agility for him.
It's another bad death for no one, though. This Monkey King's game is really slow. And he is also one of the big tempo setters for PARIVISION, so the fact no one's having a much slower game this time around will buy Team Spirit some space, and he'll have to recover. You know, that Mage Slayer is getting delayed. This is the most pivotal item in this Monkey King Leshrac matchup, especially versus the Sand King as well. You're looking at a lot of spell damage coming out from Team Spirit. This Mage Slayer is going to do some work, but not if it comes out too late. Can't afford too many bad deaths here if you're the Monkey King.
Even net worth game, Rue has his level 7. He got his level 6 finally and is going to start cleaning up the lanes, which means the cores are going to be more free to move around the map. But who is making the moves for Team Spirit? Collapse is investing into a full Crimson Guard rather than going for the faster Blink Dagger. Maybe they can still find openings anyway.
I would have bet on him going that Blink after the Vanguard. We've seen him do that a couple times before. Gives you that setup, especially when these Leshracs are going greedier these days as well.
Yeah. That is 3 power runes in a row, by the way. That PARIVISION get in the bottom part of the river, where Team Spirit just all in on top. So that would be another way they can make moves on Team Spirit if they actually had power runes to work around with, but they just can't seem to get one.
They do have mines on the bottom rune as well, so a little map control help from the techies.
True.
Radiant are scanning.
Look at that, Austin. 9 class going Battle Fury Slark. No, I'm kidding.
You actually...
I had you for a second, though. You were thinking, like, is this guy actually that insane?
We've seen some crazy shit in this tournament, so I wouldn't put past him.
No, he's also thinking about that Mage Slayer and can't blame him. I mean, this is such a good Mage Slayer game.
Multiple
Why not
Mage
double
Slayers
it up?
perhaps need a DM. Stone Gaze at the first sign of aggression from Team Spirit. The smoke a bit foiled. Then again, does Team Spirit really worry that much about getting aggressive? I think they're kind of okay with the state of the game as is.
I'd like to be getting a little more right now. I think the fact you didn't get the blink on the Sand King hurts your playmaking a little bit, so you do have to be patient here.
Yeah.
You can't just smoke around and look for crazy stuff with all the support levels you have. But you have so much spell capability right now. The team fights have to be good for you, and you did get this Crimson Guard and Collapse, so if you can find a way to start fights, or maybe force a fight around that tier 1 mid would be the easiest place to do it. This Crimson will be king of that exchange. It's going to prevent a lot of the damage from this triple core.
Yeah, I mean, the Wukong's command is going to be basically useless when the Crimson is activated.
You negate the Medusa damage, you negate some of the Beastmaster damage.
Sure.
Slark right clicks. Not a lot of AoE spell damage thrown out from this PARIVISION lineup. Something to think about as this game goes later. 9 class continue to be annoying with the scouting as no one gets caught again.
Nice toss from Radon. Laurel completing the TP, follows up the stun, and they easily run him down. Rue does protect his Shrine of Wisdom against the Slark as well. So wins on both sides of the equation for Team Spirit, both at bottom and top. And Collapse may even run into 9 class here as he's going to deboard the Watcher. They're going to get a chain stun on him. He doesn't have his Dark Pact activated. There goes the stuns. The damage is overwhelming him. They're trying to body block his pounds. They'll get him.
That's the Grimstroke pick. You can always just throw this Phantom's Embrace on him. It's so much extra AoE damage. And we saw this Slark being incredibly annoying earlier when there was a lack of AoE spells. That's not going to be a problem for Spirit this time around. However, Collapse.
Yeah, he's got the Aghanim Scepter on the Beastmaster. It's a lot of magic damage with the mines going off. He is overwhelmed. The Crimson Guard does nothing to protect you against this combination of heroes, the Beastmaster and the Techies. And with the Monkey King, they'll chase down even more. Maposhka, he's going to be run down. Rue TPing in, trying to bail him out. He does have a lot of saves here. If he can get that defense matrix off, and there's a big heal out of the Holy Locket, he is fine.
That's space created right there. Well, I guess the question is for who is. PARIVISION are also just farming the map with this Medusa. That is the combination that I like about this Techies. This Techies Beastmaster, you amp that magic damage up going with the Ags. It's overwhelming on that first target. And they're going to try and transition it into the Tormentor here, power the Medusa Beastmaster. Objective taking is no problem right now. They're dragging this No One Monkey back into the game. He had a really rough start here, but you get a couple objectives, give him some extra gold from the fights, he will be back in no time. And he doesn't need much. Like, just Mage Slayer on this Monkey, he's going to be good for a while in these team fights.
Yeah, you mitigate my damage with Crimson Guard, but do I care if I'm stopping your damage with Mage Slayer?
And they got the Depth Shroud. Huge shard to go to 9 class here.
That could be really rough if Team Spirit, we've seen them when the Monkey King goes in, a lot of times they just say, go on the Monkey, just all in it. We've got tons of damage. We don't have a problem with that. But if you get them to commit onto the Monkey inside of the Wukong's command and he gets Depth Shrouded in the middle of that,
it's a world of pain.
Yeah.
Absolute world of pain. There's a lot of nice little combinations in this PARIVISION lineup.
Dire's middle tower.
So you can play around with in the fights. Nice little rune for Laurel. He will definitely make the most of it. Zerdon swings down this mid tower.
Yeah, using his status as a bruiser with 2,500 HP. It's tough for PARIVISION to challenge him. You throw in some extras on top of that, an Ink Swell, a bit of help from Defense Matrix. It's kind of just a brick wall.
Will be interesting to see how much utility Collapse opts for in this position. Because he already bought this Crimson, he's thinking about Lotus, he's thinking about the Blink, which he will absolutely have at some point, but like how much are you depending on this game going late and scaling with all 3 of your cores as opposed to just the Tiny and the Leshrac being enough? And are you going to try and hit a similar mid-game timing as Spirit that we saw PARIVISION hit last time? Are you going to try and beat them to the Roshan, beat them to some of these mid-game team fights with a Tinker lineup where you can group and not get too punished for it on the map? As DM, he's just walking up. Like, PARIVISION are playing up in your face right now. Where's
they gotta punish this. Radon, he's gonna try and TP in, but he doesn't have his Blink Dagger, so it's a little bit slow for them to catch up here, and they're also maybe running into mines. Gotta be careful about that. Dakalis has a very nice trap set up. Spirit are wise enough not to follow DM into dark corners of the map.
They just need the Blink Daggers, right? The Blink Dagger for Collapse coming out in 200 gold. You're looking for Blink Dagger on Laurel as well to match up with this Bloodstone. Then the play action can happen a lot more quickly. You can punish these oversteps. PARIVISION trying to get the most out of the map right now while they can. And eyeing up BKBs. That's going to be their solution to all the spell damage here. BKB on the Beastmaster, BKB on the Monkey, plus the double Mage Slayer. Probably even get some Glimmers and Pipes in here if you can.
Yeah, what do you even do if you get to that point of the game? I feel like PARIVISION's draft is set up so they are supposed to have full control of the game by the time BKBs are up. I feel like if they are evenly matched up net worth-wise against 1 or 2 BKBs of Spirit, their chance of winning that fight seems pretty awful. They are just so all in on the magic damage that the Beastmaster provides. The Medusa typically falls off in damage. This Monkey King has not had the greatest time in the game, and as a result is one of the lowest net worth cores.
You have to play around Satanic's timings for sure. If you get this Beast BKB, make some play with it, look towards that Roshan, start to accelerate the game in your favor. This is not a game I think you want to sit here and watch Radon just farm up, become overwhelming. I mean, maybe you think about some pseudo scaling build with this Medusa as well, like output some more right-click damage, go a hybrid build. If you really feel like this game is not going to end soon, you're not going to be able to roll it over, which is unlikely at this point. Your Monkey just did not snowball.
Don almost got gifted a kill by 9 classes. They round the corners and run into each other.
He has Shadowblade now too, so that's another entryway into some pickoffs or the team fight here for Spirit as they smoke up the Blink Dagger done for the Sand King and the Bloodstone done for the Leshrac. Triple item timing for Spirit's cores. Would love to get a fight right now.
PARIVISION are so all in on playing around this area of the map that is extremely mined up. Team Spirit, I thought they had some awareness of this. Laurel pops one of the mines. They certainly know about it now, seeing the minefield sign.
And Satanic, he's threatening the Roshan. This is his BKB timing. He feels that he is king of the map right now.
And more mines being set up around that Roshan pit. This is going to be tough for Spirit to get there because their smoke is going to be ruined by high ground Monkey King. No one getting a lot of information, spotted by the stroke though. He backs out.
Spirit get in here. There's not a lot of mines set up. It's kind of your time to take this area over. The Tinker can deal with the waves, so you just group, play for the team fight. You're not too worried about the map.
Oh, well, Roshan's going to go to the other side, so...
That is, yeah, he's going to pop some of the mines in the river, too. And they found the Beast.
Managed to get the Beastmaster, but they can't all in him. He gets off his BKB. He turns around. He goes for Radon. And Radon's going to be gifted a little bit of defense matrix, but Rue, he can't give him enough HP. This Beastmaster right now is too strong for Team Spirit to handle. Unless they get an excellent grab from the Grimstroke. All in right in the middle of the two of them. They can't get away from the magical dancing pony.
Maposhka bailing out that exchange. Spirit's cores falter, but the supports pick it up. And man, the damage coming through from Laurel when you are stuck in there, that's the power of the Soulbind in this game. Who cares about throwing out double single target spells? You just lock these heroes together, they are going to melt. As both sets of cores overextending in tandem.
Yeah, I mean, they thought to themselves, we've killed the Yatoro. This team fight is free. Let's get as many hero kills as we can on top of this, but...
Your BKB was gone. That's the big factor.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just run into this Leshrac with no BKB on this Beastmaster. You're going to get melted unless you burst Laurel at the same time, and it's just not happening in that kind of position.
Yeah. Laurel running into DM here. Radabetos, Gorgon's Grasp.
It's kind of low mana.
And not feeling the best about the situation. And Collapse, he blinks past DM to see what's behind him. What kind of support is behind this Medusa right now? They don't see much, so they just turn back and deal with 9 class.
That's the power of the AoE this game. You're not going to be able to play this game the same way you did earlier on this Slark if you're 9 class. You have to respect running into the entire team. You know, maybe you can run into 4 heroes, but all 5, that's a little too much here. Just cannot dark pact everything.
Are off that successful team fight. Kaya, Bloodstone, and a lot of gold for his next item, a Blink Dagger. So Team Spirit are just going to be full on the initiation. And that is going to enable their backline supports a lot. We already saw the impact of Maposhka, but Rue is also going to be given a lot of space to work with. If he has 3 different cores that can all start the fight, these backline supports, constant defense matrices, and March of the Machines, Inkswells, etc., they are set up for success.
This game is looking very different and a lot better for Spirit. They have such a strong mid game here with this Tinker to back it all up. And Rue has just found so many levels. That's another Wisdom Shrine that went his way. He already has Solar Crest Mech, Locket done, looking towards the Greaves. That is a lot of EHP to get through here, and not a lot of damage to do it because of how far the Monkey King is behind. He's just going second item BKB. These are 2 defensive items. It's not the biggest damage output. In fact, that gank we saw top that failed, Collapse, he just sat in the Wukong with Crimson. Wasn't really dying that fast.
9 class, same part of the map, goes back to it.
PARIVISION's plays are pretty limited. They have to force, or at least threaten this Roshan with the Beastmaster timing. You are going to have a Beastmaster blink here, so you can go for a more aggressive smoke play to line that up.
Yep.
There's not a lot of threat around the map right now.
If you get a pick off first, it would be so sweet.
But who are you doing it with, right? You just have to find someone with the Monkey or the Slark and
they still
follow
have
it up
this
with
ward
techies.
deep behind Radon. 9 class is chasing after him. He just runs right through the creep wave. Radon's like, okay,
Missed the dust.
they're running at me, guys. The dust goes off. Radon gets behind a tree, TP's out.
The catch is just not great for PARIVISION. This lineup is designed to 5-man ball around objectives, around item timings. The more they get dragged on the map like this, the worse this game is going to feel. And this is kind of the ebb and flow we've seen with the Medusa offlane. You get caught in these types of games where, okay, yeah, you have undulation and you can run around and not get slowed, but you're also slow as crap and can't get anywhere around the map or really do anything with your timings, and it feels like a struggle.
I feel like that top fight was a good example of that, where he's not fast enough to get to that fight, so instead he pushes in mid, and he meteor hammers that tier 2. Spirit are like, okay, whatever.
Exactly. You can just play around where this Deuce is not. It's kind of like the bristleback effect, right? Just ignore him.
Yeah.
Invisibility.
That being said, PARIVISION,
I'll take that.
I find it really curious. I just feel like the Blink Dagger would have been a timing for Satanic to start getting, you know, let's just go, guys. Let's see if we can win a fight, and then off of that, take the Aegis. But they seem pretty relaxed, PARIVISION. They're just continuing to farm up their side of the map. Does their lineup have a later timing that I'm not giving it credit for?
I think you can always go late game with Beastmaster. This hero just makes your lineup incredible with the inner aura, and you can always get some later damage on the Dusa. You will have a Hex at some point. This Monkey King, in theory, is a nasty 6 slot as well. I mean, his game is not great right now, but it can become very good quickly. I don't think their scale is that bad. You have Slark to bail out some single target initiations. I would still favor Spirit if we're looking at this kind of game state in 10 minutes, but It's a tough catch. Very tough catch.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised Spirit have not tried to make a aggressive play with the Blink Dagger on the Sand King. Looking for that aggressive go into a Roshan of their own or something of that nature. They're also just kind of playing it defensive here. Maybe waiting for an overstep of this Medusa.
Yeah, where they get some sort of
or
toss back or
BKB, which just came out.
Yeah.
It's a big item timing here. Yeah, that might be it. They're just grouping up around mid. They feel like Yatoro is strong enough to fight right now.
This
an
is
extra
also,
second to think about it.
It's also times with Roshan going up to the top part of the map where Spirit, I do believe, have better control over that side, right? They've still their offlane tower, they have their outpost, and they've got this ward right next to the Roshan pit.
It's definitely an easier fight. Also, there's just less mines around that area.
Yeah.
Scouted a little bit of the mines bottom. You have to assume there's some down there. There aren't any right now, but the assumption is it's probably mined up. I would agree. This top Rosh looks a lot easier for Spirit to fight around. They will have a strong timing right here. Also note this Aether Lens pickup on Maposhka. Again, the Soulbind. This Aether Lens guarantees you should get a good Soulbind off in the fight. That's a huge spell for Spirit to land if they can get 2 heroes with it.
Despite Roshan going up to top, it's going to be a smoke down to the bottom lane. Jump forward. Inkswell, Burrow Strike, both are going to miss. Night Class, he used his pounce already. He's kind of stuck in a corner. Oh, he is completely surrounded. They're trying to bail him out right now with the Wukong's command going out, but Team Spirit, they get the kill on the support. They back out of the Wukong's command where DM is on the other side of it, so they're just focusing on the Medusa for now.
They're going to chase
off the Stone Gaze, but now this is just entrance to chase. Radon is going to push forward. Collapse is going to chase after him with his Blink Dagger.
Yep,
And they catch any of these heroes. They got DM. Managed to get the Burrow Strike onto him. A second kill going to Spirit.
Almost unlucky for DM. He TP's on that spot, but I think the creep wave below him gave the vision.
Oh, yeah.
So Spirit knew exactly where he was. Just wrong place at the wrong time. And the positioning from Spirit for that fight ends up being insanely good because the Wukong is there to kind of zone the team, but the Deuce is on the other side of it. You get an isolated Medusa.
Call is too early. Nice idea. Maybe he kills Maposhka with the mines now. They dealt with it. He had the scan on the Tormentor. Thought Spirit was already in the middle of doing it, so he just jumped in, hoping beyond hope they were going to be low.
I mean, if anything, he accelerated it. You can give a little magic resistance.
That's true.
So that's going to be the BKB for the Leshrac. Shard into the Tinker, add to his net worth. And we're starting to see the power of
Laurel untouchable. We're about to put a test to it. Satanic. He roars him all in, but now with the BKB going off at the Bloodstone, Laurel, he starts healing up. PARIVISION lacking the damage to kill him quickly. The axes aren't enough, and now no one falls.
He is definitely tanky enough to survive that. Gossamer Cape adding a little bit. Brawny Gossamer Cape saving lives out here. The extra 165 HP. A wise decision from Laurel saves his life.
And if you can't kill him in that situation...
Oh, you're never killing him in the fight.
Exactly. Next time around, the Tinker's going to be behind him with Solar Crest and this Guardian Greaves and the Holy Locket, and the Defense Matrix is like doubling his effective HP.
This is where Leshrac thrives. These lineups where you can buff him up, make him invincible, he will deal the damage. Not a question of it. It's just a question of can you last in the fight against him right now. PARIVISION having trouble fighting into this 5-man spell bomb that Spirit had proposed in this game 3. As they strike back strategically, and they will claim this Roshan. Very nice one to take away from the Beastmaster here. It feels like Satanic's timings are just not doing enough right now.
Yeah.
And this Beastmaster, he scales well, but generally we see this hero scale into the late game off of items like the Shivas, the Refresher, playing around the level 25 talent with the low roar cooldown. You kind of go in, you pick a support or a weak core target, you bring them down, you set up a 5v4 for your team. Sometimes this hero can struggle to put the entire late game fight on his back in terms of DPS.
And he's not really getting much help from his other side laner, right? Medusa is notorious. This off-lane Medusa, it hits these timings really hard. In the first 20 minutes, it's a strong laner. It takes early towers. But there's this big valley where the hero picks up its final utility item, usually the Scythe of Ice, and then it's like, now what? Where do you go from here?
I almost think in some of those games you're supposed to buy Divine Rapier.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, because you become so tanky and utility-based that they want to ignore you. Okay, if you buy Divine, then you become a threat they can ignore again, and it switches it back a bit. But outside of that, you're not dealing the damage. You're really relying on the Hex and having another damage dealer for you.
And that might just be the exact kind of creativity that PARIVISION, I mean, frankly, they're a very fun and creative team to watch. They're going to need something pretty crazy like that to turn this game around as it stands, because it feels like they're down 8K, but it feels so much more than that. It feels like now they're the ones who can't take a team fight against Spirit, where game 1 and 2, the shoe was on the other foot.
Entrance is just not there. And so much of it is the Monkey King game. The Monkey King is supposed to be that extra that extra scalability. His early game just got shut down so hard. 1 and 6 start for no one here. He's just slowly trying to get to some damage, but everything just feels too far behind.
Well, you know what?
This Slark who can pick up a little bit of it. You know, BKB, he has a Blitz Knuckle. You build some stacks. It's a hard Slark game. He has 1200 HP into all this AoE.
Like, it's rough.
I don't know, man. You're gonna die, and they're not even gonna notice they're killing you. You're just gonna be collateral damage in the AoE storm that is happening in the middle of the team fight.
Well, it is a PARIVISION game, so you know if things don't go well, there's always a plan B.
No, rat the map.
Which is rat the map. They've got a Slark, they've got the Monkey King, and we'll see how well they're able to stay ahead of the Spirit lineup that is trying to hunt them down. No one gets through the gate before the Spirit smoke can find him. Away he goes.
I do like this ward from Aposhka. Maybe not right on the cliff, as that's a D ward spot, but the idea of just getting some wards deep on these lanes to catch the rat action. If you feel like PARIVISION are going to dodge you the whole time, these deep lane wards are your saving grace. It lets you set up the counterplay and just so much easier to play the map. And if you look at the Radiant Vision, they have pretty much everything else covered.
Yeah.
A lot of mines here. You have to be careful about that.
Just a few of them are blinks past them all.
Or just
Ducalis, he set up this gigantic minefield, but now it just one simple blink dagger carries Laurel over all the danger. They quickly kill Ducalis and will protect their siege wagon, pushing into the mid-tier 2.
That is such a classic Techies play. You mine everything except the spot where you get blinked on. There's some high ground potential here. Still have Aegis. 2 minutes left. No mines defending the base.
Yeah, DM might be able to clear out the creep wave, but the problem is you're matched up against a Tiny who's going to hit this tower. Start chipping away at it. Laurel takes a bit of damage. He still has that Aegis. Not too much to fear. Popped an early Bloodstone, though. Jump in from Satanic. They're going for Radon. They're trying to bring down the Tiny Beat. He is so damn tanky. BKB's Wukong's command ultimate's being used, and they got nothing for it.
That was everything. Every ult in the tank. And you still have Aegis. You still have Radon at full. You have a Tinker that can heal you up. This push is absolutely on. No glyph. This is probably just a lane. No way you're taking this fight.
The base is entirely undefended at this point with no ultimates on PARIVISION. Team Spirit will claim the first lane of barracks.
This is what Game 2 looked like, only it's completely reversed. The mid-game 30-minute timing is just unstoppable right now.
And maybe all those mines should have been inside the base, because now Team Spirit are going for his second lane, a toss back with the Inkswell. A lot of chain stuns. He's silenced up as well. He's not being able to get off any spells whatsoever. The Dusa joined by Techies. He's going to get a little bit of help. No, locked down by the Tinker. They get a little bit more mana. He stays alive. The Gleipnir for a punish? Not really. Laurel is the one caught. He still has the Aegis for 35 seconds. Team Spirit, they don't get a second lane, but they also don't lose anything.
That Dusa is just so tanky. Even with all your spell damage, that Blade Mail is an obnoxious item to push through.
Trying to hunt the monkey. No one playing around all these mines. He sees a very little tiny. Oh, he walked into all of them. The gem is recovered. But finally, Ducalis, he has spent 30 minutes setting up the mine traps, and he finally gets a kill. 9 Class trying to have a poke of the rest of Team Spirit, the 3-man crew in mid, but he finds that the poke just doesn't work. But instead of maybe from no one on the other side, managed to surround Laurel, put him in Inkswell, get him outside of the Wukong's command, and Laurel should be fine. Rue helping him out, refilling much of his HP, and PARIVISION, they're chasing. They don't have much catch left, though.
Is this a fight you want to take?
Satanic, he's going to sandwich them. They're still going to try for this. Boundless Strike onto 2. And Satanic all in on the left strike with the jump in from Ducalis. A little bit of help from Tinker is not going to be enough. This time around, Satanic is strong enough to bring down the Leshrac.
Absolutely a fight you want to take with that angle from the Beastmaster. You get straight onto the Leshrac, no Bloodstone to heal you back up. No Tinker to bail you out. He just has to go back to base. Cannot stand there with the flank coming through. And Team Spirit caught off guard with some mines in that top lane, killing Radon. Gonna try and stall up this push from DM and keep him here.
Yeah, with the Epicenter, the combination, Rue holding him inside with the Warp Flare. Collapse deciding the Epicenter wasn't worth expending there. They just stopped the push that is coming in. I think that's wise. Team Spirit, you can't give up any more pickoffs.
It's a huge find, though, for no one. Again, you want this Monkey King to pick up the scale. You want him to recover. The fact he gets that kill, a bunch of that solo XP, it's so nice for his game. The Brooch is done. You picked up a Nullifier on the Slark as well, so now your single target threat starting to get there if you're PARIVISION. You go in with this roar, you nullify that target, you don't care about a lot of the Tinker spells, you don't care about what Team Spirit are doing, you just BKB man up, bring that target down with the Monkey King and the Beastmaster, and then you have this Medusa with the Stone Gaze to come in after that and kind of reset the situation.
And a Scythe now. So a lot of chain disable available.
This single target burst initiation committal is starting to look pretty good for PARIVISION. Spirit are going to have to think about it. You have that Linken's on Collapse. You could throw it on another roar target as well. But Refresher done for Satanic, and this is where the late game Beastmaster starts to become a big threat.
Well, they certainly can't keep one hero stunned for a very long time if they choose to do so.
That is true. It's absolutely true. Decent amount of status resistance to go into.
Yes.
Got to keep that in mind. 34% on this Tiny, 50% slow resist. We have the shields from the Tinker. You can easily blow these roars in a bad way on a bad target if you're not careful.
Yeah. There's also a fair amount of single target save from the backline of Team Spirit, and they're also somewhat of a triple threat, right? It's not just, oh, the Tiny's the only damage threat, let's just all in it, right? Because that might open the door for Leshrac to get right in the middle of your heroes with his Bloodstone.
Especially if Laurel can finish up this Shivas. That would be really big for him. Get a big armor item online. You're mainly looking at physical damage out from this PARIVISION lineup. Whereas PARIVISION are mainly looking at a lot of magic damage from Spirit. Both teams just trying to shut down the damage sources and itemize for it. As a smoke comes through for Spirit.
Yeah, they were trying to play for their ward. They thought Satanic was going to farm that camp next to the ward.
They would love to find a pickoff here into the Roche spawn. Can be spawning now in the next 3-minute interval.
Pushing into mines. Dawn having flashbacks there. Sounds of explosions. Team Spirit not finding an opening. Awkward to get into the triangle. 9 Clash trying to do some creep cutting.
This looks like he can easily get caught here.
He really does. He is going to try. Avalanche is going to catch him. Stopping the TP.
Okay. Yeah, see you later.
That is not the same Slark that we saw through much of the tournament. This is a very different kind of lineup. You don't survive off of just being able to use Shadow Dance.
No, you just unload everything every time. Get this rat off the map. Now you have a 5-on-4 for 30 seconds. Again, that Roach can spawn. Laurel's going to check it. It will not be up yet, but Spirit would absolutely commit for this. It will spawn here, and his Shiva's done at the perfect time for this next fight.
Now, the Slug did
it just spawned.
Oh my god, it just walked out of the pit. That is unfortunate. Trying to deal with the top wave. Maposhka, yeah. There's this very deep ward that 9 Class got before he died. He has a nice little triangle ward. Maybe PARIVISION could fight to that area.
I think it has to be the play. You just bought out for this Scotty on the Monkey King. That's a huge item as well, especially versus this heal that you're trying to play around with this Leshrac is Laurel. He's going to man up for this. PARIVISION are going to contest this. Oh, try and get the Monkey King in deep. Look for a massive Wukong with a Depth Shroud on top of it and double roar from Satanic. That's your team fight. Bring down the damage dealers, and you can win this exchange, but you got to do it into March, into Sandstorm, into that Shivas.
The timing is going to be so crucial here. Can they get inside the pit? Oh, Burrow Shrek comes out first. No one going to be cut down for the tree. He's going to be saved by the Depth Shroud, but the damage is done. Roshan is gone. They already picked up the agents. They got to the back line. Or it's going to be
got the bind off.
Got the other one onto Laurel. They're focusing on the Leshrac. No, they're going back for a Dawn instead, but he's got the agents at the same time. He is just clubbing heroes to death inside of the Wukong's command. Already the Beastmaster is dead. The Monkey King is trapped inside of his own Wukong's command. The statues will not keep him alive, and 9 Class couldn't finish off Laurel either. PARIVISION threw everything they had at Team Spirit, and they just slammed into the brick wall, the rock mountain that is Tiny.
Yatoro he just sat there and wailed on him the whole damn time. 4,600 damage, and the fact that Maposhka got that soulbind off right before he dies is such a huge difference maker because they roared the Grimstroke, which means if he gets spells off after you roared him, that's all out the window. That could just be the game. No buyback available.
To be the game. Team Spirit are going to return the favor. He said, PARIVISION, we know you love just ending the game. How do you like this one? We're just going to march down mid, hate straight to your tier 4s. And do you have buybacks to stop us? I don't think so.
No buyback available for the Beastmaster. No buyback available for the Monkey King. 30 seconds to do whatever you want.
And with the Tiny, that is far too much time. This hero, it beats down buildings faster than you can keep them up. Nullifier put onto him. I'm not sure what that's going to do exactly to Radon. Another tier 4 about to go down. DM stepping farther and farther forward.
Nice
daring them to go on to him, but they're just ignoring him. Radon, a 3-man avalanche, quickly deals with the supports, and then back to it. Just hit that Ancient.
Yeah, they don't
3
care.
seconds left. Back up Satanic. He is going to join in on the rest of this one. He might be able to help out and get an Ancient defended, but go back for the Dusa. Saved a bit by 9 class. Good use of that shard.
Beastmaster's back. Once
And
the
he does
Tinker.
manage to get a jump on the Tinker. They know they have to deal with these supports. No one right in the middle of all these heroes. A better Wukong's command that brings down the tiny ones. Laurel, Ogre, Steel Totem outside the Wukong's command. Burrow Strike back in with the epicenter. Radon goes to work alongside Collapse. The TI winning duo. Double tossed up in the air. And PARIVISION. They are running out of lives. They're running out of steam. A Warp Flare pulling no one back from this boundless strike and pushing Satanic away. A double for Rue as they close it out. Team Spirit will not go down in a 3-0. We now have a grand final series.
Went back for the Grim Stroke, doubled it up with the Fatal Bonds, double Fatal Bonds, in fact, the classic pub combo. We'll see if they can make it work and competitive. This Warlock has also been one of Maposhka's specialties with that Grimoire, getting those early 6s. We saw how high level he was last game, so I expect nothing short of a repeat performance. And on the flip side, PARIVISION adjusting their lineup strategically for this Game 4. They have a lot more ways to start the fight cleanly, particularly looking at that Storm Spirit mid for no one. This is his hero.
Oh, yeah.
He has made alongside Sumail over the decade of Dota 2 and ESL lands in this North American continent. I mean, he owns this hero. He can own a game on this hero, and there's not a lot to combat the mobility here from the Storm Spirit mid. You have a Hoof Stomp, you have that Soulbind / the Phantom, but that's kind of it. Maybe you land a Boundless Strike to help set that up. Still, Storm with BKB is, he's a god this game. You're really going to have a tough task set ahead of you if you're a Spirit to control no one off this mid wave. So maybe snowballing that Monkey is something they're going to prioritize here, abuse some early stampedes in the fights, and just run this Storm down.
I love that Gunnar called out the Storm just because the mixed damage is helpful, sure, get some magic damage in there. But it feels like Team Spirit, because this combination of supports, right, the double Fatal Bonds is insanely overpowered, right? You actually hit that combination, you've won that team fight, almost no doubt to it. Which means you need somebody to be able to stop that combination from actually succeeding, and being able to have a Spirit hero that can get to the back line and assassinate one of those supports at the start of a fight is a really good way to do it.
It also just splits having to clump, which was a big problem for PARIVISION last game. They were forced to take these fights head on with the Beast just going in, roaring somebody, the Monkey King trying to run in there and Wukong somebody. You just ended up all in this mosh pit of AoE spells that Spirit had waiting for you. They have a very similar lineup this time around between the Gyro with the Warlock and the Grim, plus the Wukong and even the Stomp. It's just not a fun lineup to clump into. So the more you can split that fight up, attack it from different angles, you know, this guerrilla warfare on the sides of the tree lines with the Slark plus the Storm, Bristle going on someone else. Don't give them that big Bonds target. Don't give them that big Soulbind. Game could look a lot different.
Starting at this game, PARIVISION got some very deep wards nice and early. They got a ward across the river in the mid lane, but they also put one into the triangle. Why do you think that is?
The battle begins.
Trying to scout out these stacks that are going to be built up for the Gyro, or even, you know, this mid Monkey King for later. Stop the acceleration. Not a ward bottom, though, for the courier sniping for the Slark. That's kind of the downside here of this setup. But, yeah, you know, 9 class, he's been finding them anyway, so maybe you just have confidence he's going to line it up regardless.
What is this late move? Rue and Maposhka. A late smoke by them. They're going to go for an early gank on a Storm Spirit? I mean, with the Warlock,
should be guaranteed.
They don't have the best heroes for it, but start up with a Boundless Strike, slowed down by the stroke. It's sure enough, no one is going to die, and Laurel will claim the first blood. What a way to start Game 4.
Yeah, no, when he's laughing on the camera, he drops the smiley face like, what is this, a pub game? You're just going to 3-man smoke gank me level 1? Okay, sure. It is a big deal, though. That's a lot of extra gold for Laurel, which means he can get into the boots faster and gain a level advantage, and maybe you come back there and gank that Storm later. It does show you Spirit's priority, which, as the courier goes down instantly in 9 class, shut down this Storm Spirit. They recognize he's going to be a problem in this game, and they're willing to commit a little extra resources to give Laurel a head start. I don't mind that play.
Yeah.
It does cost you a decent amount, but you get a big return for it because the first blood went to Laurel itself.
No one saying it's reminiscent of 2015, back when him and Samael were the kings of the mid lane, and the mid lane was so important that you had to be able to do certain things like that to offset these matchups, both player and hero combinations that would oftentimes lead Virtus Pro and Evil Geniuses to just dominating games through the mid lane. Laurel set up for success in this Melee versus Storm matchup with an early first blood. We'll see if no one's able to pull that lane back.
Maybe more interesting is the support lane setup from Spirit this game. They put the Warlock top and the Grimstroke bottom. Very unconventional for them. It's not often we see Miposhka in this off lane.
Nice stomp. Gets it right as Satanic went for the melt strike. Still got the melt hit on Collapse, so decent amount of damage done, but no kill found for PARIVISION.
I feel like the times I've seen Miposhka do this are oftentimes on the Bane, when they have some hero they just want to get pulls off in the safe lane and really prioritize. Here it's a little awkward. Warlock often does not function well in this off lane because he's a bit slow to go for the stack. He doesn't have a camp he can reliably pull. He's pretty bad at fighting for that camp, as he has the Monkey King bug, classic. So it's an awkward position for Miposhka. Maybe they just felt the sustain up top versus the Jakiro harass to keep Collapse on the early waves was worth this trade-off. But you are trying to pump a Centaur into a TA lane anyway, which I don't think this really changes the long-term trajectory. We'll see if they switch this up at some point again.
What about the Dispel of Dark Pact versus Fatal Bonds? Do you think that means anything in the safe lane, or they would have just been using it on the Bristleback and the creep wave anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. If anything, okay, you bonds the Bristle, you push the wave, and the Gyro is going to push it anyway, and then you just spam pulls, right? At least you can maybe threaten some XP. Maybe you're not going to get pulls against this 9-class Slark anyway, so he said, okay, well, I'm not going to do anything down here regardless. May as well just heal the Centaur.
Sure.
And, you know, this Grimstroke does give your Gyro a little bit of kill threat down here. Probably more than the Warlock. It's just an interesting swap. Not often we see Spirit go for this. See if it works out in this lane phase. So far, CS is looking pretty strong across the board. That top lane is going to be the roughest, but the Monkey King is doing quite fine mid, and Radon, he's free farming down here, which should be the case against the double melee lane.
Stomp, but Collapse cannot stop Satanic and Dakalis acquiring the Lotus. And they're going to use that Lotus, put it to use by getting aggressive onto Collapse, who's taken a lot of damage already. Time and time again, Satanic is just running him out of lane.
Nice bonds here. Does have the double bracer already up. You just keep putting the heals on to Collapse. He's surviving through this lane, which is what you want if you're Spirit. A little rundown.
Yeah, they
you
really
have boots on Radon.
Willing to chase 9-class this far. He's trying desperately to get the neutral creep tonight. He got it. No way!
That's big. This is an afterburner early boots gyrocopter. He really thrives in these chase down scenarios. You just don't get the payoff as the Golem claims the last hit, plus 350 for the Golem plan here.
And it's going to feel bad. It's not even like DM's going to be punished for that longer death timer on the Slark. He was kind of playing 1v2 in a lot of situations anyway, so the lane pushing into the tower leaves him fine. Meanwhile, 24-5 compared to 21-1. So Laurel did take advantage of that early gank that his supports provided him, and he's doing very well in the mid lane.
Another solid laning phase from Spirit. They have really stepped it up after that Game 2 loss. And striking back against PARIVISION. Another interesting thing to note about this Game 4, both teams kind of getting pushed into that mid-game team fighting in terms of the drafting, right? We see a lot more spell power, a lot more emphasis on how do you win the fights in the mid-game as opposed to some late-game AFK farming or some all-in tempo push. We're kind of seeing this Grand Finals meta defined here as we go in this Game 3 and 4.
Yeah. No one pushed out a lane again. This is getting a little rough. He is still not yet level 5. Now, Storm Spirits, they hit level 5, they can typically just back out and hit neutrals until they get 6, but being pushed out a lane a bit earlier than most.
Slight advantage off that level 1 gank, as much as no one laughed it off. Has left them in a bit of an awkward position.
Certainly.
Can always get stacks up though. That is the one thing. You have a Bristleback, you have a TA, you have a Storm. Any sort of jungle stacking you get done here in the early game on the side of PARIVISION is going to get cleared through instantly. You can look for the acceleration that way, as well as, you know, Vanguard coming out for DM here. 300 gold. The Slark can leave him alone now. 9-class can roam. Can look for some courier kills, look for some bounty runes, some vision. Maybe a quick pick off on the top lane if you want to bring 3 heroes there. Definitely some play options available for him.
Yeah, Collapse. He invested very early on 2 bracers, a magic wand, and chainmail. He wouldn't be an easy kill, but maybe with the Slark,
He could bring down the big bad
Dire's
Brad
middle
Borden.
tower is under
Catapult
attack.
up mid, though.
Oh yeah,
Trying to
rotate
take
both
advantage.
supports into this one. Help Laurel out as much as possible. Get some serious damage on this mid tower. Glyph is going to be used to protect the creep wave. And Nightclass, who cut across to try and soak some of this, he's immediately going to be jumped on by Laurel. Might even be able to get the kill as he's slowed down. Boundless Strike stun is enough. He just sticks on top of this Slark with the Orb of Corrosion.
This is a very rough position for 9 class. He's level 2. That pounce was on cooldown from when he used it to jump away from Root early.
Yep.
It's a 24-second cooldown level 1. Really
Laurel,
tough position for him.
Look how much he's just tanked up for the Siege Wagon. The Glyph is going to be used, and yeah, okay, that finally means the Siege Wagon is going to die, but another wave is pushing in. With the Orb of Corrosion, they can get to work here still.
It's just dead. There's no way you can rotate anybody in here. The Storm is jungling. He's still not level 6. And Orb of Corrosion plus Glove of Haste doing its job early. Team Spirit getting the last hit on Laurel. This is a huge win in that mid lane. One of the fastest towers
Yeah.
we've seen at this event.
And we said our panel that for Spirits, Laurel was going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I feel
wait,
like we
Austin.
repeated ourselves. Yes.
This is that Wisdom Shrine rotation. This is where you can really abuse the fact you won that mid
This is
lane.
going to be nasty. He's
in
going to
there.
be on top of it with the Wukong's command. I don't think they have the damage to deal with him here. He hasn't even popped his ult yet. They just take it because PARIVISION had no way to be able to fight into it. So
This is a classic Team Spirit move. They love making this move when they win mid. If you can bring Laurel to this Wisdom Shrine, you get both. Now your supports are enabled. You benefit off that mid lane win investment earlier that they made with the smoke. They're paid back. Everybody's happy right now. PARIVISION getting outmaneuvered here in this early game. And it's even doubly punishing because, again, that's Slark. What is 9 class going to do in this game right now? Has no levels.
yeah. DM still looking pretty strong here. Getting a lot of Viscous Nasal Goo stacks up on Radon, who is slowed down heavily here. Just has to TP away. Too much minus armor, though. Now a jump in from no one. Gonna take more. Rue, he has nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide either. Run down by 3 heroes, dodges some spells at least, but a 4th hero joins in on the mix to make sure he gets one of those permanent Agi stacks to call us. Almost bit the dust, though.
Almost got him with that last stroke. Gotta watch that Fine Art talent. Did have Stampede almost available for that fight. Collapse has it now. Ducalis will suicide to the neutrals as an amp damage rune comes in for the gank against the water rune. Amp damage will prevail there. Not a fight no one wants to take.
Yeah, certainly not. 9 class is going to try and keep vision of what Laurel is up to with that amp damage, and sure enough, he's going to go into the triangle. No one knows. He needs to back away. 9 class does get jumped. He has the pounce, and he is able to get away from Laurel. Laurel can jump into the trees again. Are you willing to dive this deep, though? This is a little bit risky. They do manage to get the silence onto him. Didn't hit him with the stroke, and now he's been hit by the ice path. This is looking really bad. Stampede's going to be put to use, and Laurel running, trying to get away from DM, but the goo, it will persist. He has to turn and fight as best he can. The goo keeps on stacking up, but he couldn't finish him off. The Monkey King stays alive, and now he's thought about going back into it. Close call with the Quills.
He had Boundless up in 1. He was trying to strike that Bristle there, heal up, back up. Bonds was doing some serious work there on top of the Wukong. No one just walking through it. PARIVISION not having a fun time in these early skirmishes, particularly going into the gyrocopter lane. This is the ultimate skirmishing carry, especially with this afterburner Max Barrage.
Yep.
Not a fun hero to try and fight into early. You just group around him. He's space for Satanic. That's the one upside here. This TA is having an absolutely free game.
The early Wukong's command used seems like 9 class and no one were thinking about going after that Monkey King, but Laurel makes a good read of the situation, doesn't push in the mid lane. They still have this ward on him, though.
You have to keep that Stampede in mind, too, when you go on all these jumps.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want to get too baited and then end up expending too much of the Storm's mana. You get caught in a bad situation. As 10-minute power rune, visibility for Laurel. Not the most impactful here, but he will gobble it up, working towards that Mage Slayer that is going to be damn good this game, too, against the Bristle, the Storm, the Jakiro, everything here
That
in
is
the early
true.
game.
Yeah, despite the, being some physical damage coming out from DM, Mage Slayer's still going to have a lot of value. But so is the Heaven's Halberd that he's about to pick up. He is a bit of a nuisance. We haven't talked about Satanic in a while, which is probably a great sign for PARIVISION.
Oh, yeah.
He is top net worth easily with all the free space that he's gotten. He's just gone back and forth. Farm lane, farm neutrals, farm ancients. Repeat that as many times as you can.
He just abandoned collapse on his top lane. He's had to jungle. Only thing Spirit are happy about is his tower didn't really get assaulted too much. But this TA got a lot of solo XP. He's going to have a very fast Desolator. They're smoking up here, probably looking for Satanic. We'll have to settle for Ducalis instead.
Yeah, get on top of them pretty easily, allowing the Inkswell stun to come through. That's going to be a nice combination all game long for Team Spirit, but particularly potent in the early game. Meanwhile, Radon, we're getting a little bit of goo on him, but DM's running pretty low on mana at this point.
I like that barrage. Just push this lane out. Don't sit there and get gooed up and ganked by some random Storm Spirit.
But you know, if you back up to farm this Ancients, Nightclass is going to work his way around. He's going to watch you from the high ground, as he does so often.
Yeah, downside is he didn't get to kill the catapult on that wave. DM keeps it alive. So this bottom tier one is going to feel some pressure down here if Team Spirit don't opt to defend it. Looking for the trade right now. Probably have to TP one of these two cores down there to make that play.
Yeah, they do have Stampede, so it does feel like they probably could take this tower and defend. In fact, PARIVISION, DM, and 9 class.
Yeah, they felt like that was the play that was coming. It never was, but
no.
Spirit gets some value out of the threat.
Just the Monkey King being off the map is enough of a threat, it seems. Now he's going to TP into mid, fighting for the power rune. It ends up being bottom regen for a no-1 Storm Spirit.
This can do some serious damage right now. His early game has been slow, again, kind of similar to that game previously. This is a rune that can put him straight back into fighting position. Definitely look for a fight with this. Do have to be wary of the ult combo that is up for Team Spirit right now. That's the deadliest thing on the map in terms of team fighting. This Fatal Bonds Golem online. Grimstroke ulti available. You don't really want to run into this lineup just head on. Again, you want to find pickoffs, you want to split them up. You want to let Satanic continue to accelerate here. He will outfarm everybody. He will continue to do so. He will give you that Roshan availability with this early Deso. So you do not want to throw a bad team fight into Team Spirit here and make his game that much more difficult. That would be worst case scenario.
Ducalis with his level 6, he's going to be one of those heroes that's going to try and stand in front of these creep waves, so push him out with Macro Pyre, but Team Spirit have excellent punish. Between the Centaur and the Monkey King, they have really good heroes to just jump these supports when they try and hold the tower, hold the waves.
Monkey King is getting a lot on the map right now. 3-0 start for Laurel. He was set up for this. Took the early tower. Mage Slayer already done. Thinking about a Radiance on this Monkey King. That would be interesting.
He's farmed enough to do so. This is a very different Monkey King from last game, right? Put it in the hands of Laurel. He got a successful lane, and now this is the Monkey King that looks like, yeah, he's going to scale. He's not going to fall behind.
Yeah, but the downside is you're not getting that Orchid buildup. You're not getting an item that's going to shut down the Storm Spirit.
Right.
This might be a little too greedy for me. I don't know if he'll end up committing for this. We'll have to see. This is a very powerful item on the hero. Will make that team fight even stronger. I mean, throwing a Radiance Burn in on top of Stampede plus a Fatal Bonds lineup, yeah, sign me up. It sounds amazing.
It does.
But that is a lot of gold to wait for the next item on a hero that you're snowballing and you're playing through.
It also means that you won't have an answer to that Storm Spirit until Rue gets, I guess, this Rod of Atos, and then get the Phantom on him after that. That seems pretty weak.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Certainly not enough to deal with a no-1 Storm Spirit, who is well on his way to recovery, though he is only tied up with the Centaur right now.
It's a very even game across the board. Might come down to which team makes the first successful move. It could lead into some early objective taking. That Tormentor spawning in 30 seconds. You're going to have to think about it. That is an objective Satanic would love to clean up here with the early Deso.
They can certainly do it really easily with the physical damage minus armor combination they have. Same applied to Roshan.
Oh yeah.
But in order to take objectives, very oftentimes you have to win a team fight. And that's where Team Spirit looks the stronger right now, right?
If Team Spirit are just sitting on that Tormentor's 5, you're not contested.
Yeah.
There's no way. You have to set up preemptively or you have to play them around the map. Maybe Team Spirit just don't go for it and you can go down there and clean it up. One of those scenarios.
Feels like one of those games where one team, it's easier for them to win fights, but they can't capitalize on them quite as well, right? Team Spirit's not going to get as many towers, not as many objectives as easily when they win a fight. PARIVISION, harder for them to win a team fight, but when they do, ooh, they're going to make a gigantic network swing between Tormentor, Roshan, towers that are falling.
Deso charges, galvanized stacks.
Galvanized stacks
Lark,
as well, yeah.
shifts.
That's true. They got some.
They got a lot.
They scale off of hero kills, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've got some nice buffs going into them off of one team fight, and they're going to make this Tormentor Roshan trade.
Yep.
feel like I'm pretty happy about this if I'm part of it. Honestly, the team fight's not there for Team Spirit, right? They're not getting that 5-on-5 for one of these objectives. I feel like Team Spirit would almost prefer if there was a clash on one of these as opposed to either getting traded.
Agreed.
They would rather take the clash than getting either objective in this situation.
So it feels like a macro win for PARIVISION in that regard. Though, I think between the two shards, you did get the better one here. Rue, he gets his upgrade on the Inkswell, which has really good value. It's only a basic dispel, but it is really good against this Bristleback.
Has definitely been nerfed over time. Still, the extra damage and heal, not insignificant here.
No.
And this is the support you want to scale in this game. This Grimstroke can do some serious damage in the late game with Ags, with Hex, with E-Blade. Zero's still a monster.
Long step in, going after Laurel. Collapse him Maposhka. Look at him. They don't even blink. They just let Laurel get gone on and wait for their opportunity to jump. Unfortunately, when Collapse does jump, he still whiffs it.
Illusion Rune was there anyway. Age is still in line for the Storm. Your damage and lockdown's pretty limited there. We're trying to hope for a bigger committal out of PARIVISION. Bait more in, if anything.
Get one of those where Maposhka can drop a golem on him. Does get his TP canceled, but Night Class doesn't even feel like he can kill Maposhka.
And there's a ward that's going to get dewarded up here as well. Vision game continuing to be a nuisance whenever you play into this Slark. TA on top of that with some traps. Spirit are going to have to be on point to set these fights up properly.
DM, more and more of a nuisance. He's got, he bought out the hairball. And this is usually where PARIVISION, with this Bristleback, DM always goes to Viscous Nasal Goo. They usually play pretty active once they get the shard, but it feels like this game might be a bit different. They do have Aegis, yes, but I'm still not certain that they actually win the fight.
If they can drag it out in a weird position, again, take it from multiple angles, I think it's fine to take the team fight right now. There's a lot of minus armor coming through between the Goo stacks plus the meld hit plus the Deso.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going to shred some targets. This Centaur is not a high armor frontliner. I do fear for Collapse's ability to sit there and take the brunt of the first hit on a hero with 10 armor right now. Most of that's from the Blade Mail. Not a fun time.
Looking to make a move. Collapse, TP'd into mid lane to join the rest of his team around here, but PARIVISION have already vacated the premises.
The second Spirit group up.
If they want to jump DM, Bristleback underneath the tier 2. This is a bit of a hard go, but they got him facing in the wrong direction, so he takes a huge amount of damage on the chain stuns. If he was faced the other way, maybe it would have been different, but Team Spirit caught him out.
I mean, also, even if he's faced with the back to you, it's only the Goo, and you still are going to hit him with this Mage Slayer. Now, you're going to reduce it.
Dire's middle tower is
That's true, the little bit of quill damage that he is doing.
Yeah, it's not that much. A very confident play from them, and does send a message this game, right? Like, we're not afraid to jump this Bristol. You need to play more careful on the map.
How important,
think about.
How important do you think it is for the overall macro sense of the game to be able to establish those threats? To say, hey, this hero can't just freely defend towers, to freely push in lanes. We will put the resources to kill them every once in a while.
I think it's huge. It's really big in a mental sense. Gives you a lot more freedom in the game. It feels like you can make plays as opposed to looking at this guy farming out mid in front of your face and going, we have 5 heroes and can't do anything. You just feel so compartmentalized. It's not a kill that necessarily nets you a lot on the map, but it does give you some breathing room. We've all been in those games where Tidehunter or Timbersaw just sits mid and you go, I'll see you in 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Those feel bad. It feels really bad to play.
Right.
Bristol can be in that category, but definitely not this game. He can also end up just being a soulbind target. Got to be careful about how aggressively you run into these fights and give Rue a big opening. This is a nice matchup as well for the Grimstroke, right? You get hit with this Phantom. Not a fun spell. Not a fun interaction for the Bristle to deal with. As the Yules will eventually come out for 9 class. Definitely slower than his other games.
Yes, I was going to say, this is by far his slowest Yule Scepter, I think, of the tournament. Just at 20 minutes. He's 0-3-1. I feel like the most he's done, yeah, he's given some information, but that move right there is, I think, the most he's done. He's been blocking out camps from Spirit all the time, whether sitting on them with his body or dropping a sentry on them. He's just doing, like, yeah, small economic damage, but it's also like, you know, double-edged sword there. He's also hurting himself.
His economy is not doing great right now.
Yep.
Sacrificing a lot for this. As Collapse getting poked by Satanic down here does have that Stampede, but no real threat.
Satanic showing off the Psionic Trap denied trick, trying to get those side blades on those heroes as they run away.
You know, the interesting part about all this is a lot of farm got traded out here, but maybe the real winner is Laurel, because he did end up committing for this Radiance Monkey build. And he's just kind of cruising to it. There's no pressure on him. It's going to help him farm really fast. It's going to help him scale really hard into this game. Good item versus the TA versus the Storm.
It means they're not all in.
Off all the bonds damage.
Yep.
Yeah, you feel a lot better about this game going late with this Radiance.
Stampede immediately put to use as they had the vision of Ducalis trying to get back through the gate. Stop him with the stomp.
In fact, I think this is one of Laurel's strengths as a player. He's very good at adapting his itemizations in the middle of games and thinking about exactly what he wants based on what's our power point to take the game or what is our win condition, right?
Yeah.
How late is this game going to go? At what point are we going to push high ground? And he almost always makes a very clean decision with regards to it. Almost reminds me of another mid player, you know, Thompson, who also used to go Radiance on the Monkey King.
That's
the originator of that build.
Night Class creates a lot of distraction, taking away the Wisdom Shrine from Team Spirit off of their move on Ducalis, and then he also brought some of the heroes of Team Spirit back. So a lot of space for PARIVISION given there.
We've also talked a lot about this carry matchup, right?
Yeah.
Satanic being, is he an AFK farmer, is he the rest of the player? He's 0-0-0 right now, Austin. You gotta get this TA involved.
Jump on to Yatoro. Radon, half HP underneath the backer Pyre. He's in big time trouble. He's definitely gonna fall. They dropped the golem onto no one, but he did not get latched by the Grimstroke. So he was able to walk it off, and Satanic has been set to succeed. He got a very easy double kill off of that one, and he's probably gonna find a third. Rue is running for the hills, but he's got a Ghost Scepter. He does also have the Gossamer Cape. That's gonna help him a lot here. Inkswell, who's just buying time. Eventually he's gonna have to Ghost Scepter.
No TP for 5 seconds.
Instant Yules to stop him from running away and dispel that Ghost Scepter. The other side, Collapse, yeah, he gets gone on. He still has the Stampede. He's actually gonna go after no one. Trying to run him down here. He still has to stop. Oh, another double edge. Does he got it? No, it's not enough damage. Are you kidding me? How did he do so little? It's a level 1 double edge. That's why.
Absolutely pathetic. It looked hype, but there was no way to get that in the end. And what a team fight from PARIVISION. They just caught Spirit sleeping. They were gathering up for a play. They didn't have the Radiance on the Monkey. They did not have the BKB and the Gyro. That's an easy jump on Yatoro every time until he has, you know, BKB, probably Satanic in this game. 3 hits from the TA, you're gone. That's a bunch of Desto charges. Going into Satanic here, 6 for him. Bunch of Galvanized stacks for no one.
Yep.
And suddenly this game is looking pretty solid for PARIVISION. They are getting the snowball they want. They're looking towards that next Roshan. That's going to be a huge deal. Do you try and contest that in your Spirit? You get to that BKB on the Gyro and have enough confidence with the Radiance Monkey to go into that pit and contest what Satanic is putting out right now, because he was 0-0-0 going into that fight. Now he's 3-0, and he is very far ahead. He got so much out of that 2-minute sequence.
He got some hero kills. He got the top tower, took away the Ancients from Team Spirit, and they've got some deep wards, whether wards or traps, little bits of vision all over the place to set up for this next Roshan.
And he's level 19. He's so high level.
Yeah.
This is a double-edged sword. If you die in the fight, you're going to be dead for a long time. But
that is true.
You are so strong on the map right now. He's just playing completely alone, forcing them off the entire upper half.
It's crazy how far up he is without his team anywhere close by. I guess with BKB, there's nothing to stop.
Yeah, can always BKB TP in this game.
Zip over Mapojka. He tanks this movement from PARIVISION, as farther down, Radon was farming up the jungle.
BKBs are done for PARIVISION. They're going to start to get aggressive, and this is where, Spirit, you're going to get picked and pulled across this map right now. With the TA traps plus the Slark vision, you split up, you're just food for this Storm to jump. They have to group, they have to find the team fight soon, and they're struggling to do so. Radiant's done for the Monkey, BKB done for the Gyro, Crimson done for the Centaur. It's all team fight, all day for Spirit. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, can they actually put the pieces together? Or are they just going to sit back on their laurels and hope that Laurel, with his Radiance, between him and Radon, are they actually going to outscale a bit of this Templar Assassin?
I mean, Radon is not outfighting anybody in this game until Satanic. That is for sure. He gets shredded on this front line. Does not have the survivability. He cannot be first point of contact. Has to be either the Centaur or the Monkey King going in, setting up the fight that way. And you got to deal with the BKBs. Soulbind is your best option. Catch the Storm Spirit when he goes in.
Got the jump onto the Centaur Yules. And he has a pounce if Night Class wants to keep him here. But this is the
target.
Yeah, this is the target that Team Spirit wants you to jump. And PARIVISION, realizing that, will back away.
That is not the fight you want if you're PARIVISION.
No.
You do not want to overcommit on Collapse and maximize his value while setting up a fight for the Gyro on the Monkey. Same thing with his Bristle.
All in, the Bristle backing. Oh, he what? Laurel missing the Boundless Strike there. I'm not even sure if they were honestly going to commit to this Bristleback or not. Oh, managed to get the Soul Bite on the two of them. Oh, and that's going to be a beautiful stomp to set it up. They're slowed down, bailed out a bit by Night Class with the Depth Shroud. They're actually going to go after the Monkey King. At least Storm trying to zip in. Still, though, DM is left behind. The Stampede's going to go off. They finally finish him. And now with the extra movement speed, they try and chase after more. Satanic on the low ground, throwing shots at Radon. He is dying fast. He is getting overwhelmed by the damage of Satanic. The carry battle continues to go to the favor of Satanic time and time again. He just appears to be too damn big for Spirit to handle.
Spirit are falling deeper into this hole right now. The lead is growing. This TA is taking this game over. And there's just no answer for the BKB Templar Assassin going in the fight and shredding your Gyrocopter. Doesn't have a Butterfly, doesn't have a Satanic, no survivability available. Just gets caught by an Ice Path, you're dead. It's that simple. Whereas the amount Team Spirit need to unload to bring this Bristleback down is absurd. It takes so long, it takes so many ults. They need more damage right now. They need more lockdown, and Satanic, he is not going to give him the time to get there. Another Roche to fall, more Deso charges for the TA, and now an Aegis to play with as he goes into the data list. This damage is going to continue to escalate very quickly here. This is going to be another 30-minute high ground timing push that Spirit are just not prepared for.
High ground is definitely going to be the most difficult part for PARIVISION. But if they can pick apart Team Spirit, say Laurel, who can't jump away to the trees fast enough, and now no one is able to follow up that initiation. A beautiful pickoff like that, you get more of those, high ground might just be free for the taking.
This is the Slark value. These wards, the D wards, the vision, the setup, constantly hounding you. He makes your life miserable. You can't farm in places. The direct teamfight impact is the Depth Shroud primarily, but these little plays is what just gives you so much gold on the map. Spirit hugging a high ground ward, trying to make anything happen around this, but the Daedalus is done for Satanic, and he's just going to force him off the area.
Yeah, not even the Centaur is safe from this damage of Satanic.
Even got the side blade there.
Yep, getting really good side blade value. Collapse, blinking ahead of DM. DM just pushing forward, seeing if he can get the kill on the support. Ghost Scepter used early. Satanic, again, the side blade hit on the traps. Fishing for it, does not find the kill. Still though, well positioned to take this tier 2. I don't think Team Spirit are doing much to stop this, but maybe they're gonna try.
Oh, they're gonna fight.
Finally put their team fight together. Remember, they still have the double Fatal Bonds combination.
They still have the ward on the hill. That's the biggest thing here.
Oh, you're right. That is a fantastic ward. Night Class gonna spot it now. PARIVISION starting to back away. Collapse, whiffing the initiation. Satanic on the front lines with his Aegis. They do manage to get the by double Fatal Bonds. The gold's gonna be dropped. Huge amounts of damage raining down on PARIVISION. This is not looking good. Big burst damage from no one. Trying to finish off these two heroes. Satanic on his second life. He goes to work. Night Class finally dies, but it's all that's left is Radon and Rue stuck in a corner. They might have hit the combo, but PARIVISION, the gold is too much for Spirit to handle.
The second life there for Satanic makes so much of a difference, and he will collect even more charges on this death. So regen rune for no one was massive in that fight as well. And it's the BKBs. Yeah, you land this double bonds, but both these cores can just sit in the middle of the fight with their BKBs, and they kill Laurel pretty quickly there. This Radiance Mage Slayer Monkey just doesn't get to play the full duration of the fight. The Wukong does not do enough. This TA is simply hitting too hard, too fast for Spirit to handle. And Radon cannot match it right now.
Hitting for almost 500 damage a shot. We said PARIVISION, when they win fights, they're going to take more objectives than Team Spirit can. And we're seeing that put onto display. 3 different team fights won, and now hitting the high ground, almost taking a melee barracks before the 30-minute marker, but they eventually do decide to retreat.
What do you do if you're Spirit now, though? That was your fight. That was your double bonds with a Wukong on top of everything, and Laurel's just getting killed by no one. No one kills Collapse there, goes back in, the Monkey King dies to Satanic's second life. If there's no Aegis, it could look a lot different, but you decided to take that fight knowing he had that second life, and
Oh, Radon gonna be jumped again. They popped out the soul bind, but doesn't matter if your carry is gone. 70 seconds. PARIVISION, they might just be ending this series here and now.
It's got name damage. This TA hits so hard right now.
They want to keep finding more. Laurel has to use the Boundless Strike with the Shard to jump back inside of the base. The heroes are being slowed down. No one pulling back in Rue. No more Ghost Scepter to protect him. And collapse! Half his HP in one shot from Satanic. This is just all over, man. They're running down Laurel. Another Boundless Strike back in the Fountain will barely survive. But PARIVISION are inside your base, taking the lane. Top is gone. They're going to take the tier 2 up next. Seemingly, Spirits can't do anything to stop them anymore.
They have just been annihilating Yatoro in these games. He's had some deaths that have just led to game losses. No breathing room available. And Satanic just absolutely taking this one over. 9-0 on this Templar Assassin. 400 CS, almost level 25 already. He has just poured in the damage. And he wants to, like you said, he's about to end this series right now.
The only thing that's really stopping PARIVISION looking for more, tier 2 at the bottom lane, but 2 lanes at 31 minutes. Team Spirit.
This lead's insane.
One more mistake and they're out.
I mean, did they teach this kid too much? That's all they should be asking themselves right now. They shouldn't have brought him under their wing.
Little Bird has grown into a falcon that is just hunting down Spirit Hero after Spirit Hero. Radon looking like a shell of himself as every single time he steps out, he just all in him pretty casually.
His PA is 12,000 ahead of him. It's not even fair.
He might actually double up on him in this game.
That is absurd. They're not even going to wait for objective anymore. They know how far ahead they are.
Yeah.
He just wants to end this game. I don't care about Roshan. I have full Swift Blink. I have Daedalus. I'm going to hit level 25 off one more wave.
And if they get more pickoffs, that tier 2 is gone, and now Collapse in big time trouble. He still has the Stampede to work with. They use the stun. Now he's going to pop the Stampede, see if he can get enough distance to TP away. Neutral's trying to help him out here. Goes to the TP now. Is that going to be enough? No! Night Class gets there in time with the Yule Scepter, and down he goes. Another 45 seconds. The windows just keep on opening. There's a bit of draft here in Team Spirit's base. No buildings in top or mid, and the bottom lane is open for the taking. All Satanic has to do is play this slow and wait for the rest of his team.
Just Ghost Scepters. I mean, that's all Spirit have going for him. Buy as many Ghost Scepters as you can and try and dodge as many TA hits as you can. As level 25 talent now available for Satanic, he already has refraction instances in this game. That is brutal for you to try and get through, especially when you don't have BKB control. Gotta remember, this guy, during BKB, no one is touching him. No one's stopping him from hitting you.
Yep.
And they're gonna wait for the next Roche. 2 minutes on the clock here. They're up 30k gold. You just got nags on your Jakiro. All the damage in the world. Nullifier on the Bristleback. Spirit, you gotta pull the biggest rabbit out of your hat that we've ever seen from this team to pull this game back.
Yeah, it also posed an interesting conundrum for them with all this team fight. They can only do it once. Are they going to do it on the Roshan contest, or are they going to wait until PARIVISION pushes into their base? Because contesting Roshan is not going to be easy with the top and mid lanes constantly being pushed in, right? You don't show on the map, PARIVISION, they'll just wait, right? They don't need to try and force the Roshan. They could just chill out, wait for you to eventually show back in your base.
Part of me says you have to contest that Roshan, and you give an Aegis to this team, the game just feels over. At the same time, I don't know how you contest that Roshan because you're going to have to go through the Slark to do it. And there's no way PARIVISION are just going to clump into the pit and give you some 5-man hoof stomp. Your other option is to just try and get the lanes out, make a 5-man smoke play, and hope you can pick somebody off. You either find the Storm or the TA just on their own, magically on a ward. You chain stun them into a kill. You get Roshan off that. That could be your last smoke play. They're kind of smoking up the side of the map with supports, but this is not going to yield anything.
Got a scan on Rue. No one.
Nothing is free.
They thought he was going to try and take the Wisdom Shrine, but no. Spirit. They know how far behind they are. There's certainly no way to take that shrine.
We have a full Hex done for 9 class. He got to it before the
Radon got spotted on that Watcher. He stumbled into it. This is bad.
Okay, he has to use his BKB TP just to make sure he doesn't get caught like Collapse did earlier.
He's still not building the survivability, though. He just can't afford it. Does get his level 20 talent, but he's going for the Silver Edge build-up again. We know how much Radon likes this kind of itemization.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helping you survive against this TA, though. And that is the biggest concern. You have to solve the Satanic puzzle. How do you beat Satanic?
Oh, Radon, he just walked over a TA trap. He just uses his ult, backs away with the Silver Edge, so he's not going to be caught on this side of the map. Not yet, anyway.
I mean, he's just assuming that PARIVISION are waiting for Roshan here.
Yeah.
Which is the correct assumption. That said, Satanic is 6-slotted. He will have to drop some net worth to pick up an Aegis if he wants to. As he has finished a full Satanic, to his namesake here. What do you do versus this?
I have no goddamn clue.
Hope his team takes a 4v5 without him. That's your best bet, I think.
That honestly might be your best bet at this point in time.
Oh, Radon sneaking up the side of the map, hoping for a leftover Wisdom Shrine or something. Not going to be rewarded.
Instead, all he'll find is neutrals. Perhaps the only units he can kill in this game. Can't show in the lanes, can't kill heroes.
I mean, I will say there's still some scale for Spirit to get to. You get to the Ags on the Centaur, you can put the Gyro in the cart. At least then the TA is not killing him.
Yeah.
You can get to a Hex on the Grimstroke. Can always be a huge item to turn these games around. But both these items are still a couple thousand away. And the problem is, the second this Aegis falls, I don't think PARIVISION are going to go back to farm. They're going to try and end that game with that Aegis. They'll give it to Satanic here. You have a banner to play with. You have a refresher shard to play with. You got to remember, this is the third Roche already.
Who's going to take the refresher?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Give it to anyone. They're going to give it to Collis, double Ags, Jakiro, double Ice Path. It's going to make someone's day quite miserable here.
We've seen his macro pyres have actually been pretty deadly. Very often, Yatoro's just left sitting in the fire and flames.
Do you have buybacks to play with a little bit if you're Team Spirit? Yatoro does not, however.
Not even waiting for the bottom wave to push in. PARIVISION trying to strike early through the mid wave.
They just want to jump anybody.
Team Spirit playing pretty far back. Laurel shows himself for a second there. Instant Ghost Scepter. He got a response. PARIVISION hop back out of the base. And Satanic says it's time to deal with the bottom wave. Still plenty of time left on this Aegis, so there's no rush. They fish for an opening. Didn't really find it. Fair enough.
They're trying to find Yatoro on any of these side lanes. 9 class is going to clear out that top half of the map. The TA will push in the bottom half. And they'll probably meet at this bottom lane of racks. Last one in this game, perhaps the last for Team Spirit in this tournament. They can't find some sort of opening. Any pickoff, any kill would be a blessing right now. Three minutes left on this Aegis. You just push in bottom, you go for the win. Pretty hard to see how you lose this fight. So much to bail out the TA if he gets all in. You have 2 lives to play with. An armlet on the Centaur. Collapse says, I'm never getting to an Axe. I need whatever I can get right now.
Every small item you can get your hands on for this final push coming their way. Banner down. How does Spirit approach this? Can they actually deal with Satanic even one time? Macropyre immediately going out. They're all landing on a Satanic, but he's bailed out by the Depth Shroud. Radon really didn't get that many flat cannon shots. They've already lost the Warlock and Laurel. Both dead. Wukong's command just being ignored by Satanic. They didn't even come close to beating out Satanic on the first life. That is going to be Megas.
You're gonna have to buy
Oh,
Monkey.
he got the dieback onto Maposhka as well.
He's just 1v5 at this point.
He really is. He is showcasing that he is able, he is the new generation of Eastern European carriers. He is perhaps the best carrier in the world, and he's backed by a team that is just so damn good. They're putting it all together, taking on the TI champions time and time again, running them down all the way behind their Ancient, all the way into the fountain, and will force them out, claiming a 3-1 victory.
Back-to-back ESL champions. What a team. I think a lot of people doubted whether they would be able to come back to full fruition after kicking Crystallis, after they bring in the youngest, most promising carry in the world. Are they going to find the same synergy? Are they going to be able to make the same kind of run they did the first time?